Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 6 of the Hall of Gamers podcast. This week, I'm joined by Cameron.
Hey.
And our special guest, GPN's Cory.
Hey.
This week, what have you done, Cameron?
No, they're just saying you're a bit loud. I'll just turn it down.
Oh, am I? Sorry, guys. This week, we're going to talk about some games. We're going to grill our guest, and then we'll pit ourselves against the news stories. But without any further, I'm pretty proud of that one, I'm going to say. But without any further ado, Cameron's going to transition us to the song of the week.
All right, sweet. Let's see if this works like I'm hoping.
I'm stuck in this home. I'm stuck in this home. I've got to get out of this loop, get myself off the stoop. I need out. I'm stuck in this home. And the cop shows. He shows and I'm stuck in this home. I can't find this watch. I can't find the watch for the third time, but this time I have an idea. He's in for a shock. And I know how I'm stuck in this loop. Wife don't believe me, but it's true. I keep repeating 12 minutes on and on we do, but I learn each new time from the clock's midnight chime. Oh, how it wants to repeat.
Song is playing.
All right, let's swap back. So first thing I gotta say, Matt, send the song of the week to the guest.
Yeah, okay, sorry, that's my bad. No, but I sent it to you, Cameron, because I figured that you would do it. But to be fair, you also do everything on this show, so I probably should have. Apologies, Cory.
In my defense, I've been setting all this up for like the last 6 hours, so...
I can't take credit for that song, so that's another Charmander written song. I made some tweaks to it, but that was the original idea. Any idea what the song is, though?
I'll let Cory guess.
Is it the Humpty Dance?
Oh, he got it. How did he know? How did he know?
I don't know why that one popped in my head, but it's
Oh
early,
yeah, no,
you know?
it was either that or Cha Cha Slide. You know, like I was really struggling to pick between the two of them. But no, it was okay. Garen, do you have any idea?
No idea.
All right, it was I Want to Break Free by Queen.
I'm just like I know it, but I'm like I'm not going to take a stab at it because I can't think of what it is right now.
All right.
You butchered Queen.
I will fully admit I basically had no I had no inspiration today. I was really struggling to come up with the song, and Charlotte suggested it, so I went with it. It's a fantastic version of it, but I do not have Freddie Mercury's pipes, unfortunately.
Yeah. Nobody's got Freddie Mercury's pipes.
Yeah, exactly. Not even Adam Lambert. All right, well, let's get into the housekeeping then. discord.io/GPNGG is your place to come and have a chat with us and the other members of the GPN crew and our community. If you don't know, Discord is basically a big old-style chat room with various channels for different parts of what you want to talk about. We've got a meme channel, we've got like a cute things channel, we've got a food channel. We've also got our own little section for Hall of Gamers, where we talk about the podcast itself. We've got a question channel, Patreon channel, and we've also got our word challenge. So in terms of the Patreon, we've got GPN Hall of Gamers content like Lights, Camera, and Action, which is our secondary podcast that we do, which is about video game movies that Cameron and I sit around and basically rip them apart. We spent the first half talking a little bit about the genre and the games themselves and a bit of the history, and then we get into watch the movie and we come back and then we basically rip it to bits. Cameron seems to have quite enjoyed this the current movie that we're going to be reporting.
Have you watched it yet?
I started with it but got distracted, so I haven't had a chance to fully watch it. So far so bad though. I'm not really looking forward to going back to it.
Look,
But
what's the name of this pod? I had no idea you guys.
So
did
this other pod with this amazing name, Lights, Camera, and Action, is all about video game movies and how horrible their adaptations from the original medium are.
exactly, yeah. So it's a Patreon exclusive, although the first 4 episodes are available on our Patreon for free. So we've covered such gems as the original Mortal Kombat movie, the Super Smash Brothers movie, Tomb Raider, and Postal.
So you said gems, and then you included all those movies, and yeah.
I mean gems with quotation marks for the video listeners. But yeah, it's so we just finished. We did Assassin's Creed recently, and we're in we're in the midst of doing our episode 6 for Need for Speed, which is she's getting Cameron. Yeah, we for some reason we let the viewers pick via a poll, and they really just want us to suffer. I don't think we're going to get a good movie for several months at this rate.
Well, we've got Resident Evil. This is episode 7, so that should be interesting.
Oh God.
Yeah, it's not many good ones in the video game genre, so I think this whole thing is going to be a bit torturous for you guys.
Pretty much, yeah. It is really just like pulling nails. It's just it's rough. But the audience loves to see us suffer, and they pay for it. So we really do appreciate our patrons. They allow us to keep the show going, help pay for things like Zoom and for our distribution platforms and equipment and all this great work that Cameron's put into the live stream stuff. So, and also for our competitions. Speaking of Twitch, Cameron, you've been working very hard this week for our video listener or video watchers. They can see all the amazing new templates again that you've built.
So I grew what's the word I'm looking for?
Tired.
I grew tired of like how it, like last week and the week before and all that looked. So I'm like, all right, cool. I'm gonna burn it all down, destroy everything, and then see how quickly I can get something working again the day of the stream.
Yeah. So far so good. It hasn't all fallen apart yet. So good job, mate.
I do want to test something though. I don't know whether this will feed through on Twitch correctly, but let's give it a try.
Oh, here we go.
So that's what I'm trying to get working for you guys. So we should get, as soon as I can figure out how they communicate and clean it up a little, we should be able to get some achievements popping on stream for followers, for subscribers, bits, hosting, raids, etc.
So yeah, looking forward to that.
If I can pull it off.
Yeah, exactly right.
I can get the animation working. I just gotta make sure I can talk to it. But
exactly.
Yeah.
It's all about those APIs. You've also set up a Ko-fi for us.
Yep. So Ko-fi was set up last week because one of my game share partner, I'll call him out, one Young Shan / Kiku / Adrian, said, all right, if I want to support you guys and I don't give a shit about the Patreon and screw subbing, even though I have for whatever reason right after Cameron implemented this, how can I support you? So I set up a Ko-fi.
Yeah, so basically you can give us a couple of bucks and we will exclusively spend that on Mountain Dew and Doritos. Because that's about what it's worth. Although to be fair to Adrian, he did subscribe with Prime, which is really just taking money out of Jeff Bezos' wallet. So I'm in full support of that.
Yeah, 100%.
We've also got our competitions. So we've got the word challenge, which I introduced last week.
Oh, before I go,
so, yes.
Apparently when Toddy subbed before, it worked.
Oh, it did. Oh,
so
all right. Then.
If it works, that's great. Then I don't have to touch anything.
Fantastic.
So,
okay. So we've got our word challenge. So the word challenge is included with the Discord. If you go on the Discord, we have a channel there where you basically have to guess a game that I've come up with, usually a relatively obscure one, with some of the worst clues you've ever heard. And basically, if you manage to get what the game is, a GIF, you have to put the game title in exactly. A GIF will pop up that represents the game. It'll let you know that you've won, and then we'll give you $20. Simple as that, real easy. Each week or every week or two, I give out a new clue, depending on how many people have been guessing. And basically try to get people, involved a little bit and get people thinking. So the clue last week was that it's a game with DLC, which is not helpful at all because there's heaps of them. There's a few of them. The clue that also I got told that was a little bit of an unfair one. So I also included the clue that it was a game that I've played. So it's on my tag.
That's much more information than Kirby used to give out. So it's fine.
It's true. But to be fair, I have played 1,817 games, and most of them have DLC. So good luck. But I will give out a new clue this week. This game is a non-backwards compatible 360 game. So that might narrow it down a little bit. So make sure you put your guesses in the channel. I think you can only put in one guess an hour, and make sure you only put one game title at a time, because if you do multiple, it won't work. So no cheating. That's all you get. You get one an hour. But outside of that, you can spam it with whatever game title you want. We've also got our Patreon draw, which we introduced at the start of the month, and we'll be announcing who the winner is at the end of the month. Basically, the way that works is our patrons go in the draw to win one of 3 games, and they get to pick what game from a choice of 3. We've got Death's Door. Was it Forgotten City?
Forgotten City and Knight's Book.
So Death's Door is obviously winning, which is no surprise because it's the best game on that list. But if you happen to already own that game and you do win, you can happily give it away to someone else. We'll give the code to whoever you like, or we also give you a month of Game Pass instead as a consolation prize. But if you haven't played Death's Door and you're a Patreon, maybe just hold off till the end of the month, because you're in with a pretty good shot, because we don't have that many Patrons. And then also Cameron's come up with this ridiculous co-op competition that we ripped to shreds last week because gamers don't have friends. But sure, go ahead with it, Cameron.
So essentially, giving away 4 codes for Assassin's Creed Unity to one person on Twitter that wins. So all you have to do is tag 3 of your friends, make sure that you're following our account, and retweet the original post. Pretty much, we're not going to chase every individual person down. The one person will get the 4 codes, and you can sort that out yourselves. Cool.
Yeah, absolutely. We want to cut down the administration on this bullshit.
I just want to also thank Todd for subbing, where I missed it. Gifted tier 1 sub to Zach.
Thank you, Zach.
And he's gifted 11 subs in total. It didn't pop, but I can do that one. I can force it. And
thank you for Panda for resubbing as well.
Oh, cheers.
All right.
I'm not sure about resubbing, but here, have that as well. Sweet.
Wow. All right. Cameron's just gonna have that on a loop, basically. Just keep popping it up with random people's names in it, and they'll just be like, "What?" All right. Well,
secretly they know it works, and it's a ploy to get resubs. No, I just really don't know how to work this code.
Oi, Allison, shut up. This is my ploy. I'm the one who gets the Twitch money. All right. We just need as many subs as possible. All right. I'm going to cut this out of the video. All right, Cory, mate. Anyway, that's the housekeeping out of the way. Let's talk a little bit about you. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
I'm a podcaster, sometimes streamer, with GPN, I definitely signed up, so we're both GPN. I think this is kind of cool because this might be the first GPN kind of collaboration podcast.
Yeah, absolutely. I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool. But I started my podcast network a few years ago. It's probably about 4 years ago, from the Canopy Podcast. And we've got several podcasts under that. We've got the Movie Massacre, where we talk about film. We've got the Bars Edition, where we talk about hip hop. And we've got the Game BBQ Pit, where we talk about gaming. There's really no meaning to that name other than I think Sean, my co-host, drew this logo, and boom, that's it. Like, there's no real meaning. I think
beautiful.
Eventually we might tie it into food some kind of way, or I don't know. But that's the name of it. And in each week, we're weekly now, so that is one benefit of joining GPN. It forced us to kind of stick to a schedule. But every week, we bring you the latest in Xbox gaming news, as well as talk about what we've been playing. So, and we've been trying to play a lot, and there's been a lot to play lately. It's kind of ridiculous. But as far as my gaming history, I'm a little older. You can see the grays in my beard. So I've been playing games since Atari 2600. I think my dad popped up with a console in the house when I was like a really small child, and just going on from there, it seemed like all my relatives, at different stages would have one. So we definitely played a lot of Pac-Man, a lot of Combat, a lot of those, simple Atari games, you know, which led to me even getting my own console at home. And then it was kind of crazy because I remember Nintendo was coming out, and I just remember having these arguments with my friends in school about which is better, Atari or Nintendo. And clearly, Nintendo was way better by miles. But you try to defend, you know, what you've got. So I'm sitting here trying to tell them why, you know, something like Pac-Man was better than Mario. Which nah,
now you're older, you understand. You know, there's just, you know, you've had that experience, and you know, console agnostic, play everything, and just play the best, really, right?
Yeah, basically. So and yeah, since then I just kept up, you know, went to Atari, you know, the Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis, PlayStation 64, you know, and just all of that. Dreamcast. I really love the great Dreamcast era. I even had a Sega Saturn, you know, which great consoles as well. But I think, you know, a lot of times it seems like in that era, Sega was just jumping the gun and coming out with stuff that was too ahead of the curve.
Yep.
And it would have taken, you know, the rest of society to catch up and, you know, build that install base. But, you know, they were just out there too early. And then it was weird because then the other console makers would come out right at the right time with systems that did what these systems were already doing. So it's kind of crazy. But yeah, so I think all the way up until my first PlayStation, I go to college, and this is where the break with me for gaming happened, where, you know, a few years of me just not being into gaming, just, you know, life was just crazy at that moment. But then, you know, things settled down a few years later. I think I got a PlayStation 2 at the end of its life cycle, pretty much. But then there was another gap. So then I jumped back in at the very end of the 360 life cycle. And that's where all the madness happens again, man. I just got into it. I was just blown away about what these things were doing, the online aspect. And, you know, I never looked back. And I kind of just stayed with 360 as it was time to upgrade and keep going in that family, and I just loved it. You know, it was just Xbox to me is just the perfect platform. I feel like you know, the other competition, they always harp on exclusives, and but I'm like, but you guys are ignoring a lot of things that Xbox brings to the table, especially, you know, quality of life, quality of service, and value for the money you're spending. Like it's ridiculous. Like you know, especially something like Game Pass, how much gaming you get access to just for this relatively small fee that you're paying every month. And a lot of people ignore that. But I think it feels like this generation, you know, there's some resistance, but I think by the time this cycle is over, I really feel like Xbox will definitely have, you know, reclaim the title, you know, and just
Definitely.
you know, but it's been great. So but yeah, that's pretty much it, you know. Everything the Game BBQ Pit is now available on GPN exclusively as far as the video version. So it's going to be on their YouTube channel. We definitely started doing video within this last year, and it's doing great for us. The audio version now is, you know, is out on Spotify right now, iTunes, and I think we'll have other things added. I got to check and see who's approved us. You know what I'm saying lately? Yeah, but it's out there. It's available. Just type Game BBQ Pit. You know, you'll be able to find it. You know, in your you know, your podcatcher apps or whatever. But yeah, we're here, man. So we just, you know, try to bring you the latest in gaming and try to keep playing. You know, even though life is crazy, I still try to sneak time in and, you know, and get her done. You know.
Yeah, no, I've watched a few episodes and caught some of the stuff that we've also been putting our videos of this show up on the GPN YouTube page, which you all should go check out because there's a lot of great content on there. And it's just some fantastic stuff that you guys go over. I love the energy that you guys have, and being in the room together really does help with that podcast stuff.
Yeah, it does. I mean, sometimes we're in a room together, but sometimes we, you know, got to do remote. So it's, you
know. So you've obviously got a big history with games there. You got any sort of favorites or standouts that really sort of you feel like shaped your gaming history or your gaming style?
I'm definitely more of an action adventure game guy, and especially, like I said, the early Nintendo era, and like the kids don't understand the privilege they have now as far as gaming, auto saves and cross saves and all this cloud stuff. I remember having to write just codes down with like 30 or 40 characters and having to get them right, because if you miss one thing off, you're you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, was that an I or an L? Yeah, I'm totally with you.
Or even a game like Zelda that came around that had like a battery in it, and eventually that battery wears out, so it's no good. So it's crazy the stuff that I used to do. I remember even just turning the TV off and leaving the console on just so my mom wouldn't complain. And I'm like, dang, this electric bill is probably going to be crazy. Just so I can save where I was at. But those games shaped me. I mean, the struggle of the, you know, really wonky controls, you know, something talking like games like, you know, Battle of Olympus, that was just crazy for me. Metroid. So I've always been, you know, this action adventure oriented, and I really do like, you know, Twitch style gameplay, meaning where, you know, reflexes and, you know, and memory and, you know, forcing you to just get better and learning patterns. So I definitely lean more toward that. But lately I play anything, you know, so, and I think that's probably part of the curiosity that I have, you know, with gaming. You know, I'm always looking for new experiences, but definitely, you know, those adventure games, Zelda, Metroid, even the Mario series, like they definitely shaped, you know, you know, me as a gamer, and I kind of look for that, you know, these days when I'm playing games, especially like I feel like the indie scene is definitely filling that void. You know, there's just so much variety and so much, you know, updates on those style of games, like even things that look simple with the pixelized graphics. I don't think they get enough respect because people want these AAA, you know, graphics, but gameplay wise, these games are giving it to me. Just something like you mentioned earlier, Death's Door, or even right now, I got Hades on in the background, you know, getting my ass kicked. But I love these things, you know. It's just amazing that, you know, we can still find those type of experiences, you know, with today's games, you know.
Yeah, it's something interesting that sort of happened with AAA development, right? Is that AAA was like, well, we need to go like more blockbuster, bigger, you know, dumber, like huger, and then it was like, hey, you know, we miss out on all these cool, like, you know, PS2 AA sort of mid-tier development games that we used to play as kids, right? And so now the indies have come in and said, hey, we grew up playing these things. Let's just make games like this. And like, so I remember playing like Hat in Time, for example, which is like, you know, small indie 3D platform, but it so captured a lot of that, like that 3D Mario energy of like Sunshine and 64. And you're like, wow, like they managed to get it, you know, without having an Italian plumber in it. But like the indies are really just sort of recapturing that nostalgic magic of what games used to be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
All right. So in terms of shows and things like that and stuff you're doing for GPN, do you have any big plans for the future?
Just to try to keep coming with the content, and also I do want to, you know, what you can expect to see. I'm definitely trying to incorporate more guests, you know, just some more of a variety, you know, so it's just not just me and Sean every week. You know, maybe some, you know, if we can, you know, get developers, get streamers, you know, get, you know, whoever we can, just to talk about gaming and expand more. Because I mean, the one thing, you know, when I started this with the From the Canopy, I didn't want to waste people's time, man. I definitely want you to at least know something that you didn't know, you know, when you listen to an episode, you know, not only just get entertained, definitely just transfer the information. And I think, you know, the platform is a great opportunity for that, to, you know, bring people on and kind of, you know, talk about their careers and what they do toward gaming, and, you know, and how, you know, how everything comes together. So
absolutely.
Yeah, that's it. Other than that, it's just try to get better, you know.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, keep it rolling. All right.
I was gonna just finish off. I mean, Game BBQ Pit. What's your favorite thing to eat at a barbecue? We have to go into it a little. Go.
Yeah, I think definitely probably beef, and that's gonna the wide range, whether it's brisket, ribs, you know, things like that. So yeah, I'm definitely a big beef person, man. And slow cooking is the best. Slow and smoky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%. Okay, good. We'll keep him on the show. I think that's the correct answer.
100%.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Cory. Let's roll on to the news. Cameron, what have you found for us this week?
All right. So the first article we're going to go through Boyfriend Dungeon. Here, let me just read straight from it. So pretty much this week, some people have been giving Kit Fox some flack. Essentially, Kit Fox was the the developer that brought out Boyfriend Dungeon,
which you were talking about last week, right?
Which hit Game Pass the day before Hades. Great game. Played a little bit then. Really enjoyed it. But the game starts with a very it starts with a content like a trigger warning. Yeah, essentially, like if you don't feel comfortable with stuff around like stalking and that, there's that at the start of the game, because there is an instance of stalking in the game, which I'm just like, oh cool, that they've added that in. Essentially, some people don't. They're not. What's the word? They're not upset about the trigger warning. They're just not. It's not clear enough for some people.
Right. Well, I guess because in terms of when you talk about a trigger warning, usually we'll have the key term of the thing that you're worried about. But in terms, again, I haven't played through the game because it's only just come out. So saying that, stalking and emotional manipulation seems pretty clear cut, doesn't it?
Yeah. So going through the article, Kit Fox posted an apology on Twitter over the past weekend, which is when the conversation over the game's more potentially triggering aspects really came to the head. The studio also confirmed that a new content warning will be added in soon. This likely means that the content warning will more accurately describe the stalking and emotional manipulation present throughout the game. Nikita has played through the whole game already. She really enjoyed it. She, from what conversations I had with her, she said it was like overkill. Pretty much the people that are complaining, because they went to the point of one of the voice actors was getting, I don't know if it was death threats or some kind of...
they were getting harassed.
They were getting harassed.
And people were, kind of just going to, just for him playing a role, giving him, flack for it.
And like, I've played
completely undeserved, right? It's like...
I've played that bit of the game, and the actor does a really good job. Like, that character he's a creep. I think I put a tweet out at one stage saying he was a level 5 clinger or something like that, because he's just a pain in the ass to deal with. But it led me to think, though, a lot of people are asking for the game's content to be changed because of this as well.
It's kind of hard at this point.
Yeah. I mean, like, it's not impossible, right? I mean, I remember when Mass Effect 3 came out, and that, again, different circumstance, but similar demands, right? People were like, hey, this ending is complete fucking shit, and you absolutely need to do something about it. Yep. And they put out an extended cut. They put out a DLC to kind of expand it a bit to make it make more sense. Some people were happier, but it still wasn't great. But anyway, it was kind of like a half measure. But
so, yeah, the question I want to ask for it, should games have to change their subject material to cater to an audience due to content warnings or trigger warnings?
I don't know, Cory. What do you think? You want to go first?
No, I feel like in this case, I would just keep my game as it is. I mean, even that warning, it actually provided more information than I thought. Just based on your description, and then you kind of run into, well, are we spoiling our game by mentioning that there's too much, there's too much content? I mean, I feel like that's plain and simple. There's a stalker in here, emotional manipulation, and all of that. So that's clear to me, and I understand that this can be a bit triggering for folks, especially nowadays in this video game era. With stalkers, kind of causing problems on Twitch a lot, lately, and things like that. But it's also a part of life. I mean, because potentially anything can trigger someone. Anything. So it's almost like we're trying to nerf the world in a way that's a little bit extreme, especially in this case. I mean, the warning is there, if you want to play it or not. And it's kind of crazy because, from what I hear, the description of this game, it's a little bit wilder than that. Like, that's not even the wildest thing to me in this game. The fact that you can date your weapons, that's a bit more crazy than this idea of a stalker. But then it's kind of crazy because we've got this show on Netflix that's almost a #1 show. It's probably going into season 3 now about a stalker, and there's so
you're talking about you,
yeah, and it's crazy. I'm pretty sure there's some overlap of people that watch you but are upset with this game. Like, that's, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. If I was a developer, I would just stick to my guns on this and ride it out.
I thought the warning was sufficient enough, and I mean, people are going to make their own choices at the end of the day. I don't think you're the kind of person that can give criticism if you're telling them to change the content of the game when you've been warned. Like,
right.
People are free to make their own decisions and that, but you can't experience it. Like, you shouldn't change a medium because you feel uncomfortable with it. And I believe at the same point, like, you watch horror movies. Like, I'm not a big fan of horror movies at all because I see through the smoke and mirrors with a lot of them. But the ones that are really good, in my opinion, are the ones that make you think about the whole psychological aspect of it. Like, they're things that I can picture happening in real life. It's not something like 28 Days Later, which I really enjoy, but there's not going to be a zombie outbreak tomorrow.
Right. Well, as far as we know.
Never say never, but it purely comes down to a case of that's the kind of appreciation for that medium that I can get. Boyfriend Dungeon is pretty much a case of I can appreciate that. I've had one instance of stalking, but nothing to an extreme that, you know, so many other victims have had. I can sympathize if you don't like the content of the game, but at the same time, I don't think you should be going into that kind of game if you've had that trigger. If you have that trigger.
Yeah, and I basically I'll echo some of your sentiments and go into a little more about how this has happened in the past, right? Because this definitely isn't the first time we've had this conversation, right? So like, you know, even like I've dealt with a stalker, and it was a very scary experience for me. You know, and I won't go too deep into it, but the thing is that like if I run into that situation, like the trigger warning is a nice to have, and the fact that they did it at all is really what should be the focus here, right? Because at the end of the day, games don't have to fucking do anything they don't want to do, right? You can put anything you want in a video game as long as it's legal and, you know, gets past ESRB and it gets rated correctly and that kind of stuff. But within reason, you can put anything in a video game you like. You can make your characters do anything. You can make them say anything, whether it's the most mundane stuff or the most offensive shit you've ever seen in your entire life.
Yeah.
If someone wants to make that, they're free to make that. I'm free to not buy it or support it or play for it if I don't agree with what they're saying or what they're doing. But just because I don't agree with something doesn't mean that they should have to change the thing that they make. I mean, video games are in all aspects a piece of art. It's something that's been worked on by someone. It's someone's artistic vision that they put forth. Whether it's a commercial success and, you know, again, you support it by boycotting it or not buying it, I mean, that's up to you. And that's actually that's a completely separate thing. But you know, them putting a content warning and saying, yeah, absolutely, there's some stuff in here that's like, hey, we don't have to do this, but because we care about our fan base and the people who are interested in this game, we want to just be upfront and tell people, hey, there are some things in here. We touch on some things here that can be, you know, potentially related to things that would trigger someone and, you know, trigger someone's, you know, have a negative response. And, you know, I appreciate they do that. I mean, I remember back when Modern Warfare 2 came out.
I was just thinking that like 2 minutes ago. I was thinking that's the perfect example of this.
Right, it's the whole no Russian thing, right? Yeah. Where it's you play an undercover operative who has to go into an airport and massacre a bunch of civilians.
Did you shoot anybody during that?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't. You don't have to, but it's like I love the trigger. Oh god,
just to see what the game would do.
Yeah, right. And it was like, nah, bro, we'll let you just fucking kill everybody if you want.
God, like, we're gonna get to what I played this week. I'm gonna sound like a massive hypocrite.
Yeah, of course you are. But I remember when the footage came out when it leaked, right? And it was the worst possible scenario because it was some fucking hillbilly hick going, oh man, I get to shoot a bunch of dudes. Oh yeah. And just going around mowing down people. And that was the first footage that anyone saw of this like horrific thing. And the guy was be like, man, I hope that plane blows up and shit. And like, you know, but
this was Modern Warfare 2, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And this
crazy story about this. Yeah. When that game came out, because I was actually playing on a modded Xbox at that time. So I felt a little guilty, but I was bootlegging games at $5 a pop. And it was so crazy. This game comes out. I go to GameStop. I get up in the morning, go get my copy. I come home and turn it on, and boom, I get this notification that I'm banned from Xbox. My console is banned. And I'm like, why did you guys do this today? And I think they banned a million cheaters that day. I was so upset. And I had
they knew. They were like, nah, mate, turn around, go back to GameStop, pick up another fucking console because we know what you want.
Yeah, that was way more upsetting than that shootout than the airport scene.
Exactly, right? Yeah, that's real trauma.
I was going to say, the solution for that too was the remaster giving players the option.
Well, that was the thing, is that because they put it, because of when it got leaked, right? They put a content warning in there to say, hey, there's some horrific stuff in here. You can skip it if you want to. Like we can put a skip mode in there. Like you still have to fight the police outside, which is still like not great, but it's still like, you know, at least they're shooting back at you. You're not just massacring civilians. I also like, well, there's some real dark humor in that bit because when you're walking through the airport and you're killing everyone, if you look at the departure sign, everything turns to delayed or cancelled. which is just like, oh boy, it's real. Like you're really easy to miss, but fuck me.
I never knew that. Jeez.
Yeah, but
Going back to the topic at hand, though, I like with an indie dev, it's not going to be possible just to go. All right, we're going to. And I've said before, I've played probably I'd say like 1/3, 1/2 of the game. It's a great game, but then that trigger warning probably doesn't specifically apply to anybody like me.
Right, and it's a little bit hard to speak on the behalf of someone who might be affected by that, right?
Yep.
That's the untricky thing, right? So it's like I can't sit here and say, hey, yeah, absolutely, like you should just fucking get over it. It's not a big deal, right? Because that's massively not fair. But I can say that, hey, if that kind of stuff, that kind of stuff is a hot button thing for you, then this is just don't play the game. They've given you the warning up front, and if you choose to continue, that's on you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's also different. Like one level is way different than it's easier to change than a character that's kind of woven in throughout the entire story. Like there's a lot of writing,
and this is woven in. Like it's not.
That's a crazy demand to put on a developer. Especially an indie title like this, and it's like, and the thing is too is like you can't play everything. Everything's not going to be for you as well. There's hundreds of games, maybe thousands that come out each year. And if you miss one of them, at least that's how I think about it. All right, whatever. There's more to play,
As long as it's not Hades, like you're fine.
Yeah,
but it's like you can't expect every game to be made for you, right? Like that's just not like. But there's a level of, I fucking hate using this word, but entitlement when it comes to people who play video games now, where they expect that a lot of this stuff is like, well, I'm the audience, and the art should change for me, and it's like, well, actually, are you the audience to start with? And in no way should the art have to change for you, because basically, there's a million other people who are perfectly fine with it.
Yeah.
But just turn the fucking console off, go touch some grass.
Yeah. And
all
also
right.
stop harassing the.
Oh yeah.
100%.
Like yeah, 100%. Yeah, that's
Goes without saying, don't attack video game devs.
Yeah, Piani in chat says that she resents Dark Souls for being too difficult. Yeah, she's not wrong. It is too difficult, but yeah.
Join us next week as we talk about games being too hard for us and why we should get easy modes.
What's the dinosaur game that's kind of like Left 4 Dead? What is that? Second Extinction.
Oh yeah.
It's too hard, yo. Like even with a team, man. Like I want to love that, but y'all got to do something about that difficulty.
Yeah, exactly right. Well, hey, accessibility modes are all the rage now.
I mean. You could go the accessibility route, or you could go the route of get good. Which has worked for years. So
really,
you just be like achievement hunters do, and just like, all right, I'm gonna smash this brick wall in my head. I'm eventually gonna get it.
Or I'm gonna die. One or the other.
Yeah, I feel like I'm a pretty decent gamer. Like how much good? Like if this.
Yeah, how much more get gooding do I have to do? Exactly right.
Yeah,
I've done my time.
And to those complaining about Dark Souls in the chat, I mean, like, if people can do it with a banana, if people can do it with a Guitar Hero controller, surely it can't be that difficult, yeah?
Did the blind guy beat that or something?
Yeah, something like that, yeah. It was amazing, yeah. It was just,
Oh, man.
Hand tied behind his back, just head banging. Yeah, I think he nailed it. All right, Cameron, you want to get us into the next news story before we get cancelled?
All right, cool. All right, so I don't know how to start this next one. Outriders dev haven't received royalties, speculates partnerships quotation marks with with things like Game Pass might be the cause.
Okay, so this is speculation on speculation, but so Outriders came out. A lot of people played it on Game Pass because fuck paying $60 for that was kind of the message I was getting from most of the people who were playing it. They were like, "This is a cool game. No way would I pay $60 for it." And people can fly have had a bit of a bad rap. Because they did Bulletstorm, which was well received but didn't do super well in terms of sales, and then they did Gears of War Judgment, which didn't do super well in terms of sales, and everyone fucking hated it.
So going into the story more, People Can Fly is the developer.
Yeah.
The ones that are speculating that the cause might be distribution platforms or entities offering Outriders as an addition to their products.
So Game Pass.
Yeah. They don't come out right and say it, but it sure sounds like they're talking about Game Pass, which their first big third-party release was on. I've seen a lot of things on Twitter about Marvel, Avengers as well. Purely seems like a Square problem.
That yeah, because
Does
that's kind of the common thing, right? Is because Square are the ones who published the game, correct?
Yep.
So partnerships might not be Game Pass in particular. It might be some sort of agreement they had with Square, but I don't know. It's kind of hard to tell because Square have published a lot of games that are on Game Pass at the moment. You know, Final Fantasy, Dragon Quest, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, those games are doing great too. So
yeah,
I don't.
Now there's two key problems. One is, from what I've read, People Can Fly don't have the sales numbers of their own game.
That is a problem.
Which is a massive fucking red flag.
Yeah, if you make something you don't know how much you sold of it, that doesn't sound that sounds like you've been scammed. To be honest,
100%. So that's
it sounds like the publishers is not being transparent with the developers.
Mm-hmm. That was going to be my second point. Yeah.
Especially because it'll be like, well, the publishers put up the money to basically get the game distributed, and then they'll say, oh, we sold this many, trust us.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, how many exactly was it? Oh, it was roughly this much. We'll give you this money for it. Oh no, I didn't sell anything. Don't worry about it. It's fine. Just make another one. Make an Outriders 2, and maybe they'll sell better.
Which the massive fucking problem with this is a lot of these developers, like especially if you're like a tiny indie with a one person or a small team, they're putting their livelihood, like they're taking a massive fucking gamble.
Mm.
And if the publisher's gonna screw them over. Like, I was reading, I can't think of who it was, but there was one dev the other day complaining about, like, the contract agreements were so confronting in such a negative way. It's like, well, if anything goes wrong, you get my product. Pretty much, if anything goes wrong, I'm paying for the product, and I'm paying for the team to further, like, fix the product. Like, what do I get at the end of this? Like, cool, if it blows up and it gets Among Us level fame or Celeste or anything like that, it's great. But if anything goes wrong, I'm fucked.
Mm.
And just not being able to see your own sales numbers, I can't even imagine being in that situation. Like, what can get you to that situation?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm sorry if I'm sounding very negative, but
no. I'm with you. That's. I mean, like, because it's a pretty fucked situation for you to release a game that. Yeah. I mean, even if it didn't sell gangbusters, a lot of people were talking about that game. Mm-hmm. I mean, partly because it was the only thing to play those couple of weeks, right? It was a quiet period. Yeah. People were looking for something. It was had a co-op experience, and people had a good time with it for what they played, right?
Yeah. Like it had a lot of problems at launch, but I mean, from what my understanding of it, the game got better.
Mm.
Yeah, I mean, I enjoyed it, for what it was, but at the same time, there was a lot of talk about, is this it? And like you said earlier, is this something I will pay $60 for? And honestly, it wasn't. I feel like this is a easily, $40 game right now. There was no PvP content to tide you over as they would release, team-based stuff. So you're already kind of missing that element. And then, the end game was a little bit kind of just, I'm not sure of the state of the game now. I mean, honestly, I kind of, went down the Destiny road before, and this kind of reminded me of, something similar.
It is essentially the answer for Destiny. But at the same time, this is a one and done IP with no further content plans down the road. What am I going to support? I'm going to go to Destiny 2. I'm not going to go to, like, I'll try Outriders, but I'm not going to stick around.
Mm-hmm. And I'm kind of was over the Destiny thing. They burned me out. I went so hard for Destiny 1, and then when Destiny 2 came out, they kind of stutter stepped at the launch of that game, and I never really went back. So even with the Outriders, it's like, all right, I'll give this a shot, and it was fun, while it lasted. But it also reminded me too that why I didn't really want to get into a game like this again. So I think it really, I mean, they're trying to figure out why they haven't got paid yet, or maybe the performance of this game, but I think you probably got to start there with the actual game itself versus how it was rolled out, because it was crazy, because I think the team mentioned earlier this year that Game Pass was a success for them as far as bringing players in and building the community of players for this game. But but you got to kind of follow up that momentum and
Yeah.
you know, have stuff to keep the players engaged. I don't know what the numbers are looking like now of active users or any of that.
They've said it's fallen off quite a bit. Like, would it be fair to assume too that I'm just trying to think of the best way to convey this point. Would it be fair to assume too they're obviously frustrated as devs. They're not getting paid the royalties. There possibly could be something in their contract saying like, obviously, like I'm sure all three of us agree, Square's the problem here, not Game Pass.
Most likely, yeah.
I'm sure there'll be something in the contract that says like, as soon as you badmouth us or anything, that's it, contract done. We take the IP, whatever.
Yeah.
Possibly,
Well,
possibly, yeah.
Possibly, yeah. It's hard to say.
So they're venting their frustration on something else. We've covered Game Pass stories ever since we've done this podcast, yeah? Ever since we've done Real Gamer Score, ever since we've done Hall of Gamers. I've never, ever seen an article that negatively talks about Game Pass.
Yeah, it's always been basically, hey, this game's on Game Pass, plus we also, like, you know, had 40% extra sales, even though it was free on Game Pass.
I think
it was like Descenders was, I think, the first one I remember being like, yeah, it's like, no, we just had a massive boost in sales, even though we just put it out for anyone to play whenever. People just love the game.
Aggro Game, I'm not sure if the devs, Aggro Games or Aggro something, they're the developers are going under, or the publisher. Right. And they said there was like a massive increase when they went onto Game Pass because the game had been released for, I don't know how long it had been out in the wild, but they had that uptake after.
I mean, like, none of us had, I'm assuming none of us had heard about the game until it came to Game Pass anyway, right? Like, yeah. I mean, like, yeah, I was like, cool, this game seems cool. I don't think I'll play it, but I've heard good things. You loved it. A lot of people loved it, but it's like the fact that it wasn't a day one release, it's like, oh no, this was a game that was out there that just no one was playing.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, well, shit, okay. Like, great. That's Game Pass is doing what it's supposed to be doing then. Like, you know, introducing us to genres and developers that, you know, it might have been overlooked.
And I've been doing the exact same thing with the store lately, like going through and it's just like, all right, this game looks really cool, but it's $40. I'm not going to test a game if it doesn't have a demo in the store, and let's be honest, doesn't have achievements.
So it's a hard ask. For sure.
I know one developer slash publisher slash, I don't know what you want to call him, that we have had on the podcast before, Vudix, has talked about just releasing their demo as a $5 game, just to have a 1K list, and that's such an amazing idea in itself for the marketing aspect. But any closing thoughts?
No, I don't have any other thoughts on it. I mean, I guess we'll figure out what's what, you know, as it unfolds. I mean, hopefully Outriders survives this and it continues to be a thing. But like I said, I don't know what the numbers are, and honestly, I don't think Square is being, you know, dishonest with this team. I mean, but give them the numbers, but maybe there aren't any royalties yet. Maybe they haven't hit that threshold to send them money. So I mean, hey,
there might be something in the contract that we don't know.
I mean, just like thinking about it, like I remember when it came out and was like, oh, it came out for $60 on the PlayStation, and everyone was like, I'm not paying $60 for that. Like, I'm not. But then it came out on Game Pass, and everyone was like, well, I'll play it on Game Pass because it's free. But like that's how I want to experience it. And if that hasn't generated any money for them, that's kind of like, that's not Game Pass's fault, right? Like the PlayStation is still beating the Xbox 4-1 in terms of sales. If you're not making your sales on PlayStation, you sure as hell ain't going to be making them on Xbox.
Yeah.
No.
So it's to be honest, like if they're saying that Game Pass is the thing that's causing them to fall down, I want to look carefully at that statement because I don't know how true that is.
Yeah, because it's weird. The Game Pass can't help you, and then also, you know, like it's kind of a lot that you're putting on that, you know, service.
All right, Cameron, you want to quickly touch on this last story you've got?
All right, so the last story is essentially Fortnite's got a new mode.
Oh, does it?
Yeah. Unfortunately, it looks like it's got a good case of the imposter syndrome.
Oh, okay. So that's not a bad one. Okay, I'll give you that. Imposter syndrome, sure.
It's kind of sus.
No, but okay. Now you've lost. Now you've lost me, mate. Now, okay, no, you're gonna get pushed out the airlock.
So are you two both aware that essentially Fortnite's ripping off Among Us?
Okay, yeah, well, okay, let's not go too clickbaity. Yes, they have put in a new mode called Imposters that is very similar to the Among Us concept of trying to find an imposter and then voting them out or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's not really much else to say about it. I mean, I guess the question there is, I know what you're going to say. You're going to say, is what Fortnite have done here wrong?
Can Fortnite just keep on ripping off other games to continue their success?
Like, this is how Fortnite works, right?
Like a lot of people have ripped off Fortnite lately, so
yeah. But this is how Fortnite Battle Royale came into being. They were like, hey, we're gonna do like a tower defense game that's kind of popular. We've been working on it for like 100 years. I remember when they announced it.
That's not an original idea.
No, exactly, right? And then they were like, hey, this Battle Royale thing's pretty good. We've got all these fucking assets that no one's using. Let's just rip off PUBG and King of the Kill. And then they were like, hey, this like 50 versus 50 mode's pretty good in some of these other games. Let's just put it in our mode. Mm-hmm. Epic has so much money that they don't have to buy the competition. They can just copy them. And because ideas, you can't copyright it, well, you can't, patent an idea as such, or a mode for the most part. There's nothing you can do about it. And in all fairness to Fortnite, if they're doing it better and they got more people playing the mode, that sucks for Among Us, but Among Us need to do better, basically, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, Among Us is doing great.
Exactly, right? Like, it's not like Among Us is like, I'm the small indie dev that got our thing stolen that no one's ever heard of, and I patented this 5 years ago. It's like, mate, Among Us, people don't shut up about Among Us. Fucking kids are talking about it. You see the soft toys and everyone talking about things being sus. Hell, I had my goddamn cousin running up to me and telling me that I was sus, and I nearly punched her in the face.
Like, Innersoft is just such an amazing group of creators too. Like, I know, like, everything that I watch community based has Victoria Tran in it. And she does, like, amazing, like, absolute one of the icons in community management, in my opinion. But just, I don't see why Epic couldn't have approached him.
Why would they? They don't have to.
I don't think they have to.
I mean, like,
nice, yeah.
But the thing is, when has Epic ever been nice to anybody? Are you kidding me? They were like, hey, Steve,
get like Among Us player skins.
Yeah, sure, right, or something. Yeah, like, maybe, I don't know. I mean, like, I mean, it's like something, right? But like, still, like, Epic were like, hey, Steam, you're taking too much of our money, so we're literally going to rip off your platform and make a brand new gaming platform, like a brand new PC gaming platform that is massively inferior, but we're just going to do it. Like, who cares how much it costs? It's cost, like, they've come out in the lawsuit, right? It's costing them millions to keep it running every year, and they're not planning on being profitable for like another 5 years with it. They're like, fuck it, we have so much money, let's just throw money at the problem until it goes away. Either we just steal what we need to do, or copy, or whatever you want to call it. I don't want to be, I don't want to end up in my own lawsuit. And just do it. I mean, like, they don't owe Among Us anything. And like, sure, it's shady. I'll give you that. Like, it's a shitty thing to do. But in fairness, Among Us isn't an original idea either. That game had been around for a long time, but like the whole, like, find the imposter thing is like been like, the whole, like, fucking, that's Secret Hitler. That's board games for years. That's Werewolf. That's Avalon. That's all these things, Like, it's not an original concept. They just did it in a way that was really accessible to people and worked out really well. And Fortnite was like, hey, we have this huge thing. Again, they did exactly the same thing they did with the Battle Royale stuff. Like, hey, we've got all these assets around. This thing's popular. Let's just try it out and see if it works. And it fucking does. And it, like, who knows? Maybe it'll be like, it'll crash and burn and no one will like it. But I mean, I get the feeling that the Gen Z Among Us audience meshed quite well with the Fortnite Battle Royale audience. So I'm not surprised in the slightest that they're like, hey, let's just do the same thing, because it made the money in the interim. Why don't they just do it again?
So,
and I think right now the press is kind of helping Among Us. Just this story alone, they're like, whoa, let's see what this mode is based on. Let me go check that out.
Let's see how much of a ripoff it is, and if it's actually better. Because the thing is, if it's better, great. People will play that instead.
Yeah, and it's not really anything new under the sun with any of this stuff, to be honest. I mean, it's really rare like that I play something that's totally original. Like, I can't even think of anything offhand right now, to be honest. So.
Well, I've got a fun new game. I'm going to give you 2 game titles that I found on the Xbox store in the last that have released in the last fortnight, and you tell me what game that they sound similar to.
Okay. Yep. I'm listening.
Our first one is Get Packed.
Get Packed.
I don't know where that could go a lot of ways, and
yeah. I don't. I mean, I think I saw a South Park episode about that.
What is that game that's out? Moving Out.
Yeah,
you know,
moving out. Sorry, I tell the chat after this. Look up these games, and you tell me how close they are to the more popular title. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Get Packed. Okay. Moving Out. Yeah.
And also, Let's Cook Together.
Oh, okay. So
Okay,
yeah. Okay.
I mean, yeah, like what?
I mean, in all fair, yeah. So
the artwork on Get Packed, it's so close.
Yeah, I'm gonna say like Let's Cook Together. I'm probably gonna say game mechanics more so, but Get Packed. I'm like, but that looks like moving out quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Sure,
Yeah.
but I guess the thing is like this is nothing new, right? Like we've seen this with was it The Asylum where they do all the like the terrible like parody or like similar versions of popular movies. So like when Transformers came out, they released
Transmorphers.
yeah, right. And was it like it was like League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. It was like Alan Quatermain and the League of Gentlemen or some shit. And it's like it was.
The only thing I'm upset about is no one ever made a Black Panther ripoff.
I know, right? They should have.
Like Dark Puma or something. I'm so looking forward to that. But maybe the budgetary restraints were too crazy. But come on, guys.
Obsidian Lynx. Yeah, I'd watch that.
Oh my god!
I mean, I as a human being, I feel a little bit bad for the Among Us guys, right? Because it's like, hey, like they had a cool idea, it's been going well for them, and they have been putting a lot of time and effort into that thing, and it's obviously been very successful for them. So it does kind of suck that this massive, conglomerate that's funded by China is just coming and going like, yoink.
I feel bad for the community manager because she also worked at Kid Fox.
Oh,
so
really?
It's been a bad week.
Oh boy. Woo.
Yeah.
That's a rough one.
Like I believe she did, but like I said, she's a community champion, so
sure.
Any closing thoughts?
I mean, I'd be interested to see if we hear anything else about this mode and how much. Like, I'm interested to see how much salt comes out about this, because if it's not like if the Fortnite mode isn't very successful, then this is the last we'll ever hear of it, right? They'll bury it. They'll be like, oh, it didn't really work out. People who like Among Us will like Among Us. Yeah. But the thing is, if the Among Us art style and gameplay is what keeping people there, they won't be moved by the Fortnite stuff.
Yeah, and they're two entirely different playing games. I don't feel like really high level first person shooter guys are going to be that really into Among Us, and vice versa. Among Us is like I think it's easily way more accessible to a wider range of people than a crazy 3D shooter is. So I don't think you're going to have too much, I don't think Among Us is going to lose a lot of, player base switching over to a Fortnite, sus mode.
Yeah, exactly. I'm
personally just like really interested to see like where it goes in the future. Like, especially when Among Us comes out on Xbox. For console Game Pass, because we're a sucker for achievements.
It's on its way.
I'm a sucker for achievements. I'm currently battling with Sean right now for this month. He's ahead of me, and it's kind of annoying because sometimes you get that lead on the list and you're like,
yeah.
Next thing you know, you wake up and you're like, what the hell just happened?
What did you did? How did you finish Hades? You didn't sleep? What?
Yo, Hades is making me really frustrated. I'm putting a lot of time into. I got one achievement unlocked. I got hours into this.
All right.
What do I have to do?
All right.
I think we should move into what we've been playing. Matt,
let's get into it. Yeah, I'll start with what I've been playing. So I've got a little bit of a list. But the main thing is going to be Hades. Yeah. So I completed Hades. I was the 10th person on True Achievements to complete it. This is one of the best games I've ever played in my entire life.
Yeah.
It is so good. Having said that, and again, I gushed about it last week and I'll gush about it more. The combat's great. The weapons are fantastic. The characters are amazing. The writing is good. The art style is just incredible. And the loop is so addictive. And the RNG is pretty good in terms of like giving you builds that work and that sort of stuff. Having said
that, we played the God mode.
We did play with God mode, yes, because I don't have time to be fucking around with anything
I was thinking
else.
about that. So does that affect the achievement unlock?
You can get all the achievements with God mode.
Just to give a quick explanation to chat about God mode, this isn't your God mode in the typical fashion of invulnerability, unlimited ammo, etc. This is a 20% physical damage reduction.
It's just damage, 20% damage reduction in general.
Reduction, and then every time you die or fail a run, a 2% increase to that, all the way up to 80%.
Yeah, I'd never hit 80%. So like I did 70 runs of this game.
76%.
Yeah, I was sitting with like I think about 70% or so. But to be fair, I did actually die a few times on purpose because this game's great. This game's amazing. Again, I've talked about it and I loved it and I loved every minute of it for the most part. But there are a few asterisks in there in terms of you play a game for 70 hours in a week, less than a week actually, because I got done with it on like Tuesday and it came out on Friday. So, there are a few things about the game that really sort of stick out a little bit. The RNG for the story is not great. I know the game is meant to be played a lot and you're supposed to do a lot of runs, and each time you finish a run or each time you go back to the house, there'll be new characters to talk to and you can move the storylines along. The problem is that if you're quite good at the game or you've got God mode on or you've played through it a lot, I got to the end of like, basically the story is you need to beat Hades like 10 times to kind of get there's like a thing. Every time you beat Hades, you get a new bit of story. There's about 10 actual story parts. And then afterwards, there's an epilogue that you have to grind towards. I got to the end of those 10 before I'd done a bunch of the story stuff. Cause I had got a lot of, it took me about 10 or so runs. But after that, like I got a build down, I unlocked all the weapons I wanted to do. And then I beat Hades 15 times in a row without failing. And that failure that I had there was an intentional one because I got like halfway through grinding through something and my build was fucked and I was like, I just want to restart.
I think saying that 15 runs and then it started feeling like a roguelite.
Yeah, that's kind of what exactly right. Like I was getting to like, okay, I'm like 30 runs in. I've beat Hades 15, 20 times. I've played a bunch with all the weapons. I've unlocked most of the boons, or I've played with most of the boons. I've got a lot of good combinations going. Now I need to grind out nectar to give to the various gods and the various people to get their relationship up. But I can only do one per run, and it's random what gods I get. Like the RNG stuff was like, okay, actually, it was great when I had a lot of choice and I had a lot of different things to do. But now when it's like, okay, like for example, there are 3 quests that involve changing someone's contract. I don't want to get into the spoilers of it, but there's like 2 of them. One of them involves Orpheus, and one of them involves Sisyphus. And so there's a third one that you have to do one of the others first to get the third one to unlock. But that third character has like a million other dialogue options before they even bring that thing up. So you have to play through a bunch of times.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, like, and like,
characters probably popping in randomly too. So.
Exactly, right? So like they're not even there every single time you run through it. And it's like great, and all their dialogue is good, and like they comment on the weapons you're using or stuff that's been going on or relationships they're having with other characters. All of it's really good, but I'm like, no, I want to get to the story bit, and I know there's a story bit here, but like my options are run through and beat Hades and spend 20 to 30, maybe 40 minutes doing a run, depending on how badly it's going or what weapon I'm using. Or just going to the first area, dying, and just trying to get the next story bit, which is kind of, I felt like I didn't want to do that because I felt like that was kind of like cheating and wasn't the way the game was supposed to be played. The other part is that there's a bunch of keepsakes that you need to grind out, like 17 of them, I think it is. And so you need to do, some of them are, exactly. You need to give nectar to like a bunch of characters to get them. And once you get them, you need to equip them and then defeat 75 encounters, like combat encounters, for each of them. So that's like, that's a lot.
You're looking at 2 to 3 runs.
Yeah, exactly. That's 2 to 3 runs each, and that's if you're like being combat focused. So that means like skipping anytime you have an option to go to a store, making sure you pick the combat option. Not doing any of the dialogue options or the special stuff, and trying to really optimize it. So like it took me 70 runs to max out all of my last run was maxing out that and then doing the epilogue story because I'd basically done all the other bits and pieces. So it took me literally exactly 70 runs to finish the game. I probably could have been a little bit more efficient, but the RNG does make that a little bit more difficult. It's a really good early, mid, and even most of late game is like, because you get a lot of options and it's always like, okay, hey, I want to get this character's level, like this character's affection up. I want to use this weapon, and I want to put, once you've beat the game once, they add it, you have optional conditions to make the game harder, so you can get those rewards again that you get for doing it the first time. And you're like, okay, I want to go through this one, I want to do this one, I want to do this prophecy, I want to try and, like, there's a list of like, there's a list of every god and all the boons you can get from them, and certain boons you only get them if you get a different one, so you look at the list. So I was making sure that, like, to make sure I was, you know, and like I didn't have to do this, but just to make it more interesting, I was like, okay, I want to get all of Zeus's boons. So I want to make sure I want to find Zeus, and then there are also duo boons which you can match up. It's like, okay, if you get this boon from Poseidon and this boon from Zeus, there's a chance that next time you find one of them, they will give you the option of one of the three to give you a duo boon that will combine their abilities. And those are quite rare. Yeah. So I was trying to build in those directions, because there are prophecies that give you extra rewards, not needed for achievements, but help, you know, make things easier for you in terms of upgrading your weapons or upgrading relationships with people. So I was trying to go in those directions and try to make sure, like, that maybe use a lot of weapons, maybe use a lot of different abilities, maybe lots of different builds. I mean, I did come across the perfect build, which is having the adamant rail, which is the gun, and basically getting Dionysus and getting the cluster bomb ability. So Dionysus drops whenever you use your special attack, dropping hangover, which is the ball. Yeah, exactly right, and just dropping it on them, and they just get hangover, which is the poison effect. And then one of the forms of the adamant rail is you drop the bomb, and then if you get yourself in the blast, you get a 75% power up. So you just start blast, and then you get maybe, you know, on your gun you get either weakness or weakness from Aphrodite. And then there's also an ability that gives you 40% extra damage if someone has 2 status conditions on them. So you hit them with the bombs, you dash in, shoot them, hit them with the bombs, shoot them, and they're done. It melts every single boss in the game. But like, I always felt like I was cheating playing through that way, so I varied it up a lot, which is, like, as an achievement hunter, this is the kind of game where I played more than I needed to. Like, I went outside the bounds of what I needed to do for achievements because I was enjoying the game so much, but also because I wanted to preserve the experience and not get bored of it so quickly. I mean, fuck, I put 70 hours into it, right? So
yeah, that's a lot. I think that's more than can be expected. Especially now with like, it's hard for me to stay locked into a game that long with so much out there to play and such limited time to play it. So
100%.
What day did Hades come out? Thursday?
It came out Friday, like Thursday night, Friday midnight.
So Thursday night to Tuesday night,
something like that. Yeah, I think.
So 5 days. Let's do the maths here. So 70 divided by 5.
Okay, here we go.
You did an overtime shift on this game, like.
I mean, okay. So hang on. So I finished it on. I finished it on the Wednesday. So okay, so 6 days. 6 days.
All
right.
All right, we've got a maths teacher in chat. What's 70 divided by 6?
Okay. All right. So I played a lot of this game. I did not sleep a lot this week. All right. You can see the bags under my eyes. It was great. Aftos in chat asked, would I play it again now that I finished it? If I just got to the end of the story, like the 10 wins, like I would definitely still play it. Getting to the end of the epilogue, I have exhausted pretty much everything out of that game. I played every build. I've gone through and unlocked. I basically tried every single variation on the weapons. Because, you know, basically there's a hammer that you get that swaps, gives you 3 different variants for each weapon. Like, I got every single variant except for one on the spear, which I could not get. So Admiral says about roughly 12 hours a day. Yeah, that sounds about right. Obviously I was working in that time, so I slept. I didn't sleep actually. I got about 2 hours of sleep a couple of the nights. It was a rough week, but I could not put it down. And it is very, very rare that it happens to me for any kind of game. I was absolutely hooked, and like this is 100% one of the best games I've ever played in my entire life. So
if you want to donate to us, we will be using that money to go and get him the therapist.
Yeah, exactly. I need a sleep therapist. I have night terrors already, you know. Now like I literally close my eyes and
withdrawals.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I'm gonna need to find a new game quick. Luckily, Game Pass.
Have you tried Curse of the Dead Gods?
I have not.
That seems like it. I mean, just looking at it from the surface, it looks
similar, but different.
A little bit similar to Hades.
Different gameplay mechanics.
I'm interested. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, like, Aftos put this great meme in our GPN chat that was the cracker that basically said roguelites on it, and I said, "Get that shit!" It says, "Get that shit away from me!" And then he takes one bite of it, and his eyes light up.
I generally do feel like that. Though.
That is me, and he tagged me in it. He's like, "Hey, this is you," and I was like, "Fuck, that's 100%."
Somehow Hades works. It's the loop, and like it doesn't feel like some of these other ones. I have actually tried the what was Curse of the Dead guys based on? I forgot.
Like Dead Cells.
Dead Cells, yeah. And I was like, I'm not really digging this. And there's a lot of those type games that haven't really, I just didn't like them, But somehow Hades works. I don't know why, but maybe it's the combat and just the way everything, works, the controls and everything. It just reminds me of, older stuff I used to play, so much.
Yeah, 100%, right? It had a perfect loop in a way that I was very surprised. Oh, and thank you, Admiral, for subscribing. We appreciate it. He's on his 3-month streak. Good job, mate. Keep us. He said, get that therapist, mate. I'm probably gonna need a couple more subscribers than that, but that's a good start.
I mean, he comes from AHA, so I think they need it more than us.
That's true. They know a little thing about addiction. So yes, thankfully, Game Pass has given me a new thing to try with 12 minutes, which I started playing today.
Go ahead and download that now.
Yeah, do it. So I pre-downloaded it. I jumped on it this afternoon. That's a really great game.
It is good.
I'm so fucking frustrated with it already, though. I put maybe an hour or two into it. I have no fucking idea what I'm doing. I have lots of like, okay, I'm seeing the interactions. Yeah. I'm like, okay, I know how to do the sleeping pill thing, and I know what I can do with the light switch, right? And like, I know what I can do here. I know what I can do there. I could do this, but I'm missing. There's a piece there. I'm like, okay, where is the fucking pocket watch? That's the piece.
Yes,
that's the 100%. Piece, right? I'm like, okay, I'm like, okay, I can see all around it. I'm like, okay, how do I convince her I'm in a time loop? Okay, I was like, I got a couple of things that I've been able to do, but it's clearly not enough. There's a couple of pieces of the jigsaw that I'm not quite getting, and it's very fucking frustrating. And I know people, yeah.
Just to lead into that, I think that's the charm of it, though. Like, it's finding that bridging, connecting, getting from that point A to point B. Like, where is the pocket watch? There was so many instances this morning. I said to Nikita, I don't know if you're gonna get time to play this. Like, I woke up at 6 a.m. because it released at 2 a.m. my time last night.
Yeah. And
I just went, I want to play this. It's only 2 gig. I'm gonna download it now on the Series S and just give it a shot. We played through about like 5 runs of it, and just trying to get that bridging connection between. That's what I'm looking for. Like, to find the pocket watch.
Yeah, I still haven't found it. I'm still looking.
Same.
But I was like, I've gotten close where I was like, okay, she almost admits it in this part, but it's like too late. And then I'm like, okay, and then I've been like, well, you know what? I'm gonna put some sleeping pills and knock her out, and then I'm gonna do some sleuthing and try and find it. Still haven't found it. So I'm like, okay, this game's too clever for me. So I need to figure it out.
Have you got the listen achievement
for just sitting there? Yes.
So you see her go into the bathroom, grab something out, and then walk out of the apartment with you in that scene.
Oh shit!
Yeah,
the bathroom was what I was thinking, but I
was looking the bathroom up and down the next scene. I even went so far as to like, all right, when the cop quotation marks comes in, and she rats me out to say, "Oh, come and help me," I'm just like, I'm just gonna have to fucking murder her, aren't I?
You can literally pick up the knife and just use knife on her.
So
yeah.
Me and Robbie had an interaction today, and he asked me how I was doing with it. And it was just like, oh, like I did this. And he's like, what was your reasoning behind that? And I'm like, I didn't want her squealing on me, so I murdered her.
Oh my God. I was like, maybe if you use the knife, you might threaten her. But then they give you a warning. And I remember the interview about this game because they were like, yeah, obviously, like, we watched a lot of people play this game to make it like user test friendly and that sort of stuff. And one of the people just came in there and just murdered the shit out of her immediately. Just saw a knife, picked it up, and stabbed her immediately, and just So we had to put an interaction in there because we didn't expect it to happen. But
well, I 2 lines of thinking with this is that's going to be the most horrific thing that breaks the loop straight away.
True.
And I wanted to find the quickest, easiest way to break the loop.
That
was the most horrific way to do it.
Does that work? Does that actually like?
No, like the cop still comes in, and then still searches the apartment. You get found, and then that's it.
Okay. Right.
And then the other one was just that listen achievement, just going like, well, you leave the apartment. She's clearly got something and doesn't feel comfortable there talking to you about it.
Yeah.
She must have it.
Yeah, maybe. Well, to be fair, she does have something she wants to reveal to you. But anyway, yeah, so I'm really enjoying it, but it's also very frustrating. So I'm gonna go back to it.
So what's the play style of it? Like,
it's
point and click.
Point and click with like all it is dragging and dropping and then conversation icons, and that's it.
Okay.
The only The only frustration I have is the menu feels too painful to get up. It's dragging
finicky.
It down. It just
Yeah, it really should have been a select and then select thing, right? Because
it purely feels like for PC.
Yeah, no, yeah. So I think it would work a lot better on PC, and it is on
for the PC Game Pass.
Yeah, it's on PC Game Pass as well. It's play anywhere, so you can play it on either. I think it's cross save as well. Yeah. So I'm enjoying that. I'm going to go back to our report back next week on where I get to it. I see no one has unlocked all of the achievements, but Games with Dane has got like all but one. So he's
getting really frustrated with it.
He put 8 hours into it immediately, which is crazy.
He won it first.
He won it first. Yeah, he might still get it. I don't know if the achievement's glitched or people just haven't figured it out.
I'm just a bit disappointed it only didn't take him 12 minutes.
Well, okay. Well, that's Well, we would put up some gameplay, but we don't want to spoil half the game. So I also have been working on a game that's leaving Game Pass, Stranger Things 3. And I say 3, it's because it's based on season 3, not because there were 2 games of it beforehand. It's leaving Game Pass, so I'm just rushing through it. I wasn't sure what to expect. It's surprisingly good though. I'm about halfway through it. It's a love letter to those old isometric brawlers. So when we kind of moved on from the like side-scrolling Streets of Rage stuff into more of the like skate or die style, where it was isometric and you kind of go around a sort of 3D-esque environment, beating the shit out of guys. It's just that it's a walk around, collect things, talk to people, and beat things up with a hammer, or with your mind powers, or with kickboxing or whatever.
I don't know why. The first thing I thought when I played it was like, this really feels like a Game Boy Advance game. Yeah,
like it has that kind of style to it, where it's like a more minimal experience, no voice acting, a lot of cute little sprite-based stuff. It's a fun little game. I mean, if you've seen season 3, it follows it almost exactly. Like it's like beat for beat. So like if make sure you watch the season before you play it, because you probably get a better experience, because it will spoil the whole thing. I'm about halfway through it. I know you have to do a new game plus run, where if one of your characters dies, they put their permadeath. So we'll see. But it's not a very long game. I'm only about 4 hours into it. I'm going to try and maybe finish it this weekend. We'll see how it goes. But I've still got another week before it leaves Game Pass. Not much more to say on that. But I'd recommend it if you want to quickly get a nice, easy completion with a nice ratio. I think it's got like a 2.1. And then there was something I wanted to talk about that I missed last week because we were so busy talking about Hades and other stuff. Omen Sight. So this is Cameron's been recommending that I play this game for a long time. And so with the Xbox Cast guys, they have a competition called Back to Your Backlog and Back to Your Backlog 2, which is to play a game that is in your backlog that you have not started and have been meaning to start, but just haven't gotten around to. So Omen Sight has been one of those ones that I got ages ago on Cameron's recommendation. It is the spiritual successor to Stories, Path of Destinies, which is a amazing game that I really, really enjoyed. That's all about the apocalypse. It's all about sentient, like humanoid animals. So it's a fucking furry's wet dream. But basically, it's about the end of the world. And you play the harbinger, and you're like, okay, you basically come at the end of the world, and you're supposed to be, okay, I'm going to stop the world from ending. World ends, you get pulled out, and this witch says, hey, I can send you back to the dawn of that day, and we have there's like 4 people, and you need to try and convince them. You need to find out like why the world's ending, because basically we think it's because someone's been murdered. And it's a murder mystery / combat / platformer that it's like plus Groundhog Day. So there's a lot of time looping stuff this week.
I like the art style of this. It looks really good.
It's really, really nice. I would say like maybe because it takes place in the same universe as Stories. And I would say like Stories is, I kind of like the structure of Stories like a little bit. Like I kind of like the idea of it being like a storybook, where this is more of like an epic. This is more of a whodunit, and I really like it because like it takes a lot of those mechanics and just amps them up to like better dialogue, better interactions, more interesting stuff, more twists and turns. It's less kind of like straightforward. I really, really enjoyed it. So much so that I got to the end of it, got pretty much all the achievements, and I got the ending, and I was like, wow, that's kind of like, well, I guess we got an ending, but that's not a great ending. And so I was like, well, I'm missing a couple of achievements. Maybe I'll just load back into it and just work on some of those. And you jump back in and they're like, oh, hey, you didn't like that ending? Yeah, I didn't like it too. So here's what we're going to do. And it gives you a bunch of extra other shit to do to try and get like the good ending. No achievement for it, but I was like, I'm going to do it because I want to see what happens. Uh, I really enjoyed it. It's a little bit of, again, with any game like this, it's quite repetitive in terms of like the combat is not the draw, it's the story. The combat is just the mechanism that gets you through to, it gives you an excuse to go through it. There is additional difficulties of how, like, it's great because it has really good difficulty in terms of like easy, medium, and hard in terms of combat difficulty. But in terms of like the mystery, they also have like a guided experience and then like a just like true detective experience where it's like, hey, here's some clues, you write this shit down and you figure it out. Or it's like you can go for an orb and it'll show you all the clues that you have and kind of point you in the right direction. I went for true detective because I was like super into it. But it does mean that like sometimes you'll hit a wall and you'll be like, I'm pretty sure I need to go and talk to this character. You go and do their storyline. It's like, okay, no, dead end. Okay, it wasn't them. What about this one? Okay, what about this one? Okay, it has to be this one. So like there's a little bit of process of elimination because the clues aren't like, depending on the route you go, because it's quite open, the clues can be a little unhelpful. Not quite as unhelpful as like the word challenge, but somewhere in between.
Yeah.
But like I'm really glad that I finally played through it. It's a pretty short completion too. It's only maybe like 6 or 8 hours. But I would highly recommend it. Just you can chuck it down on easy just to get an idea of the story, and the combat's pretty simple. There's only 1 or 2 sort of little niggly achievements, but once you've actually finished the game, you can actually go back and play any of the various paths in any order, like based on basically once you learn a clue, you can use that clue to basically unlock an alternate path. But once you finish the game, you can go down any path you like. So you don't have to worry about missing anything really. It's pretty simple, but I definitely recommend it. Speaking of, I don't actually know how much score I got this week. I also played I also played a little bit of like The Last Stop and like a couple of other story stuff that I'm just sort of working on. But I'm still a little bit early to determine where I'm at with that. But that puts me at 2,795 for this week, which I'm relatively happy with.
Wow, that's a lot.
So yeah, it's not bad. Cory, do you want to talk a little bit of stuff you've been playing?
I'm with you. I've been doing Hades. Let me see what else. I jumped back on Avengers, which is kind of crazy. I just talked about it on our on our last barbecue pit. Like, I don't know what was going on when this game initially released because I bought it, day one. But I'm thinking maybe I was suffering from some kind of COVID depression. But I was like, this is okay. But now, since they dropped the Black Panther DLC, I've been trying to, catch up. So I turned it on and I started playing through that first campaign, just trying to, get used to the controls and, the gameplay before I went into the Black Panther stuff. And I'm like, this thing is great. Like, it's a really good game. And it's really weird that it, I guess maybe the glitches initially when it came out, kind of, impacted how it was received. Because I remember when I first was playing it, this thing would crash on me just so, randomly, after, you got a couple hours on. Or maybe you turn it on in the first 20 minutes, boom, you just get a totally dead screen. And that probably kept me from going at it. But I really love this game now. Like, it's just really fun. Like, the story is probably, to me, the most impressive aspect. But also, this game, you're looking for those AAA graphics and experience. It definitely delivers that. And it's just been really fun. I've been definitely having fun, trying to finish up this campaign. I think I just played through the Black Widow kind of introductory mission, and it was just so much fun. They do a good job of making you feel like you're running with these Avengers characters, and I've definitely been enjoying that. Let me bring up my recent plays and
while you're looking at that, are you big into Marvel stuff in general? Do you play a lot of the other?
Yeah, I'm pretty big into the TV shows and the TV series. It reminds me, I got to watch the new What If this week. I haven't watched. I was going to
say the new What If with Chadwick Boseman in it. Amazing.
I'm waiting for them all to come out because that's just how I watch my TV. But I'm very excited.
Yeah, it's more fun to binge it. When you got a block that you could. All right, I got 3 or 4 to go through. But as well as I did watch that new Eternals trailer. I'm like, whoa, there's some crazy stuff going on in that as well. What else have I been jumping on? I did try the Omno game, so I started that a little bit. That's pretty interesting. It's kind of more of a, exploration, puzzle solving kind of game. I started Art of Rally as well, and that thing is a little bit more complex driving mechanics than I initially thought, just based on the artwork style, but that's actually a really good game too. If you're in any racing stuff, it looks simple, just because of the way they chose to, their graphic engine, but there's a lot going on under the hood. There's some exploration, as well, but really solid, racing mechanics. But it's mostly time trial stuff, so you're not really racing against, other cars on the screen. So, just be aware of that. If you don't mind that, just, racing the clock, that's been pretty solid experience. And yeah, other than that, I think those are the ones that I'm running through right now. I'm trying to get back on the Ascent, but it's crazy. I'm just a scatterbrain gamer. It's hard for me to play through something all the way through. I definitely jump around a lot. Sometimes say I got like 3 hours to play, I might run through 4 or 5 games in those 3 hours, just jumping around and just being like kind of neurotic with it. Yeah, that's about it. That's all I can think of. Actually, yeah, Planet Alpha, that's actually was a free game with gold.
Yeah.
I think it still might be available, but I started playing through that. That's a kind of a I guess 2.5D side-scrolling platformer. It reminds me of games like Flashback or even Outside, something like that. But I've been having fun with that. It's got a really crazy visual style, and if you play those type of games, you kind of know what to expect. So I'm kind of interested in getting through the story on that. And there's also some crazy time manipulation, because I think your character at certain points, you can kind of advance the time or roll it back to create shadow and light to help you get through, certain points of the game. So that's been pretty interesting. And that's about it. I did mess around with that last Back 4 Blood, beta this past weekend. Yeah, definitely looking forward to that. I can't wait till that comes out. That's the one that I pre-ordered. So yeah, but that's about it for right now,
Sweet. Sounds like you've been playing a lot of good stuff though. That's great. I mean, that's the dream, right? That's the thing. Is that like
that's the dream. That's the dream.
Just be able to play as much cool stuff as you want. Yeah, I'm totally.
I got a question though. Since you guys are achievement hunters, like, there's a lot of these Xbox One games that keep popping up on here in the Game Pass library, and there's so many times I want to turn them on, but then I turn no achievements, and I'm like, all right, I guess I won't play that.
It's like Game Pass for PC. You're like, oh hey, I love that game. Oh, no achievements. Okay, well,
just like, oh no.
It's a real hard balance, right? Because because we work on our gamer scores so much. It's like, and we've talked about this before, where it's like, like we have like my fiance has a Switch, for example, and there's a bunch of games on there. I'm like, because I love, like, I grew up with like Zelda and Metroid and that kind of stuff as well. And like I want to play all of that stuff, but it's like, or I could like work on some stuff on my gamer tag and get some achievements. It's like it's it's got to be a real fucking good game for me to be like, nah, you know what, I might just forsake the achievements and play it for fun. Weird concept.
Like, I could have been playing Hades a lot, but also now that Hades is on Xbox and it has achievements, I'm definitely into it now.
Yeah, exactly.
We need that dopamine.
Yeah, exactly. Got to get the
hook it to the veins.
Need that achievement drug. Another easy achievements. I don't know if you guys have done it. It might still be available, but that Space Jam game, Legacy, that's an easy one. Boom.
Is it 2 to 3 hours? I need to get back to
that. I think it's less than an hour to play through it, actually. Yeah, and you can unlock most of the achievements. I think there are some local co-op ones that you can't get unless you got someone on the couch, but it's so easy. Like, one playthrough pretty much, and you've got everything.
Speaking of that, just a quick shout out to everybody in chat. That would be one of those games that I would definitely pick up, because I mean, it is a licensed property. It's probably going to get delisted down the line somewhere.
How crazy has it gotten for you guys though? Because like, there's one instance, I think there was a game on here that I bought for $1.99 just because it had I could get 1,200 gamer score.
We can quickly shout out this. I'm not sure if it was this week or last week. No Thing came out, which was $2.95 Australian, and you could get the achievements in less than 4 minutes.
Jesus.
And essentially that was level skip, pressing Y, and then right on D-pad and Y, spam that 1,000 times.
What?
I mean, look. Cameron and I have played some real trash over the years, but like,
Menu Simulator is always the best.
Menu Simulator, exactly. It's like PC games where it's like you log in, you're like, okay, cool, console command, okay, teleport to the spot, achievement unlocked. Teleport to the spot, achievement unlocked. Spawn this enemy, kill this enemy, achievement unlocked. It's like, okay, well,
look, no thing like achievements if I can get them in less than 5 minutes.
Yeah,
I mean, did something like that with Subnautica, because you can
exactly.
Like, all
that's
all the achievements in like 15 minutes, just putting in a bunch of developer mode codes, and boom.
Yeah, exactly.
Console commands, which I quickly want to actually bring up too. Quake, was it remastered? Got announced?
Yeah, they announced they're bringing out Quake 1, 2, and 3, right?
Yeah, Quake 1 and 2 and 3 hit Game Pass, and the PC one has achievements with console commands.
Oh, okay, great. Might look into that then.
I mean, Bethesda, so...
Yeah, makes sense, yeah. Cool. I actually quite like Quake, actually.
Same, I need to go back to it.
All right, Cameron, what have you been playing, mate?
Games. Where do I start? Road Company. So, Dom helped me, Halo MCC. Him and his buddies always talk about Road Company. So I'm like, all right, played this around launch back in October. I'm going to go back in and, play a little bit. Did some King of the Hill modes, which is 6v6. Main criticism with this game is they're trying to get more players in, like, obvious bigger game types like 6v6 when it's, I think it's a 4v4 game, traditionally. The maps are too small.
Right.
First criticism. Maps are way too small, but when I've been playing the 4v4 modes, it's been pretty fun. Typical FPS, kind of shooter in that way. Not really much to... Where was my invite for Road Cup? I've been online all week. What are you talking about? But yeah, no, quite enjoyable. One of those, there's been quite a few good free-to-plays lately, like Splitgate did amazing during the beta weekend.
So amazing they had to delay it. So.
Yeah. I mean, you get the investor money, like, why not? Not really much to say other than about 12 minutes. Matt's pretty much covered it. I played a little, I probably played 2 hours this morning. Can you go back and just... I like being able to play this with Nikita because then we can both have the input and just all right, let's try things. Let's put our brains together and see what we can come up with. But it is that frustration, yeah.
Yeah, because the thing is, if you can't figure it out, you also just end up going through the same loop a bunch of times, and it's hard to find a quick way to end the loop. And you're like, well, no, I fucked it up. I need to restart. And it's like, well, I wish I could just throw myself out the window or something, and just be like, cool, restart, fucked it.
Yeah.
Use knife on self.
I feel like I've just maxed out the number of different combinations, but it must be the case. There's meant to have 6 different endings, so.
Right. Yeah.
Hades, you've talked about to death. Pretty much the same thoughts. I got through that original 10 run throughs. Very end, I don't think it's too much of a spoiler to say.
Careful.
You know where I'm going with that.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, if anybody that knows what my daughter's name is, you know the connection there. That's cool. So just for that level of it, that was a bit emotional for me, getting that ending. But I still got to get the epilogue. I've still got 15 achievements. I pretty much set it up at the start of the week of I'm going to try and keep pace with that, and fuck my life, that was hard.
You were doing really well. You were
I was doing really well, and then I was just I need to move. I move on Monday. I can't do this anymore. And then you pretty out just getting 2 hours of sleep. That bullshit. Fogs. I the physics-based dogs, the cat dog situation. I got the checkpoints from Brain5454, who also helped us with the grounded checkpoints to get the achievements. Amazing guy. Does some guides on YouTube. Nothing as massive as Maka Achiever guides. Benjo. What is it? Benjazooey now.
What?
I'm meant to blank.
Cheetazooey.
Cheetazooey.
Yes.
Yeah.
Cheetazooey. Yes.
Oh, I just messed that up. But the other content creators, Bill's.
Yeah, he does a lot of guides there and stuff. So we wanted to give him a shout out because he's helped us out quite a bit, which we really appreciate.
Fogs is a 2 hour, as a 2 hours completion, is an amazing game.
I think as a 10-hour completion, it's still an amazing game. I had a hilarious fucking time with that game.
I don't know if it's a spoiler. The gameplay mechanic changes at the very end.
Yes. Yeah, it's a huge spoiler, but
okay.
Yes. Yeah, how they switch it up in that last dungeon is great. But
that is a massive pain in the ass.
It is absolutely. But as Charmander points out in the chat, it is much better with another person. You have to play it co-op to really get a good experience out of it.
But yeah, really enjoyed doing the quick and easy way and cheating, so that was great. Other than that, I also played quite a few easy completions. I'm not going to go into all of them, but the ones that really stuck out to me were from the same developers that do Airy, do all the Airy stacks. They've made they made two games, Life and Fly and Life and Fly 2. And essentially, it's the exact same as Airy. You fly through some obstacles. You're a fly. Just chucked on the podcast. Listen to that. Easy game score, like 45 minutes to an hour for both.
All right.
And then, yeah, the rest is essentially, like I said, no thing. The rest of it's very easy, just trash. There was another one, which I'm probably going to absolutely bush to the name, Oneiros. Oneiros.
Oneiros?
Oneiros?
I have no idea.
I think it's a Greek word.
I mean, I'll take your word for it. It's all Greek to me.
I have no idea what happened to the story. It's essentially point and click, go and grab some stuff, put a card together. Like a few achievements. I've got no idea what I was doing. Like I was following you guys, just like get a cuckoo.
Like, is that in the game?
Just like, all right, easy points, cool, whatever. There's like a unicorn like killing broccoli like mini game.
Okay, all right. So this game sounds like a fucking mess.
Yeah, there's a talking penguin. Not penguin. What's the word?
Flamingo.
No.
Kiwi.
Yeah, exactly. Swan. I hope it's a fucking bird, because if it's not a bird, he's a right fucking idiot.
I said penguin, and now I'm having a mental blank.
Albatross.
What's the really shitty birds?
Fucking penguins are really shit. What are you talking about?
Penguins wear tuxedos. What are you talking about?
Mallard.
Pigeon. Thank you.
Pigeon.
There's a pigeon. Like there's like the second level is this wise cracking like pigeon. Just like, I'm not going to do anything for you unless you get me vodka.
God damn it, Todd. Todd, you son of a bitch. How did you fucking get it?
All right. Is that the first one done during the show?
That's the first one that's been guessed during the show. God fucking damn it, Todd. All right,
and
so
this
Todd
is why
got
you
it.
need to listen to the show.
I mean, yeah, if you don't listen to the show, you don't get it.
All right, so do you want to take a quick detour off my pigeon talk?
Yeah.
So the word challenge was?
So the word challenge was the game Beautiful Katamari. It's, I don't know how the fuck he got it. It's a 360 game that's non-backwards compatible that has DLC. Like, what?
Was next week going to be Game Pass? Is the clue? Like,
yeah, I know it's not on Game Pass. My next clue was,
like the spiritual successor is, yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say that it was part of a series that's on Game Pass. Yeah. Well, fuck. All right then, Todd. I guess you're going to get $20, you dickhead. Ruining my goddamn show. Oh Christ! Well, I can't even use that for clip of the week either because it gives it away too early. All right, fine. You get your $20. Jesus, all right. But you guys ain't getting another word challenge till next month. Yeah. So
one a month. That's the new.
You get one a month. That's it. You guys guessed it too fucking early.
And if you want to be in more competitions, then go support the Patreon.
Yeah, exactly. There goes the sub money, as Panda said. Exactly. I was hoping that Cameron would get it and he would just give the money straight back to me.
I've got no idea. I'm in disbelief that they guessed that. Jeez.
He only had 2 guesses as well. It wasn't like he put like 10 guesses in there. Like he only could have 1 guess an hour. We've been running the show for like 2 hours and he got it in the second try. I don't fucking believe it. Anyway, talk about your fucking pigeon.
So essentially, yeah, I have no idea what this game. There's a lot of achievements with mini games. There's like a lot of like solve this code via user guide, so the codes are the exact same. There's this wisecracking like pigeon that's protecting a part when you're trying to put this car/plane back together. I do not understand this game at all.
All right.
It's like, I think the guy's dreaming. Actually, I think that's what it's the Greek word for. I think it's the Greek word for dreaming. I'm going to look this up. Why I confirm this?
What else have you been playing?
No, that's crap.
That's it.
Absolute crap. Right. 13,040 for the week.
Jesus Christ, 13,000.
Yeah.
What?
I've been, like I said, I've completed MCC. I'm going back to my whoring out for points.
All right, fair. All right.
And I get told off about not getting games complete all the time. So like,
this is true. You need to finish the fucking games.
I'll finish the 1 hour ones.
You need to tie up your shirt like it's a bra as well while you're at it, mate. Just completely lean right into it.
I don't finish any games. It's so crazy. Like I want to, but you were talking about the different endings on Hades, and I'm like, when's the last time I've actually seen an ending screen like really actually play through something, that has some length in it? It's been a while.
All right. In Greek mythology, dreams were sometimes personified as, not going to even attempt the name again because I can't fucking say it.
Mm-hmm.
It was also, according to some myths, the name of the sons of Achilles with look, I picked the Greek gods that I know that I can name after my kids.
I was going to say, you named your child after a Greek goddess, so I think I figured you probably would have had at least some sort
and
of...
if I say it now, it's going to be a spoiler, and I can't even do the joke name now.
This is true. All right.
Next week.
Yeah.
Next week.
As Admiral points out, it wouldn't be a good podcast if you didn't butcher some fucking pronunciation of something. It's almost a staple at this point.
That never got fixed. So leave me alone.
It's got nothing to do with speech impediment. You just fucking can't read.
Yeah, I'm not adding you guys to my Xbox friends list.
No. That's I have that same rule on True Achievements. I'm like, I had Zach hit me up. He was like, hey, can I add you as a friend on TA? And I went and looked at his TA score and it was lower than mine. I was like, yeah, that's fine. That's fine. You can go in there. That's fine. I'm like, like if someone gets above me, they just get quietly removed.
I'm just waiting for somebody hitting the Hall of Gamers leaderboards, like in the next few weeks, which has an absolutely butchered name like X6975. Bloody.
Oh, there was that great clip that came out about you trying to pronounce chapter. That was just amazing.
Yeah, getting called out on Twitter. Oh,
amazing. Anyway, let's get into some of the questions because we're running a little long. So,
you're skipping a whole segment of our podcast.
Oh, what are we talking about?
So let's go to the Hall of Gamers leaderboard.
Oh yeah, sorry, I forgot we did this first. Yes.
Yeah, which
Sorry, Cameron has done some amazing work with the leaderboard screen. So let's see it. Come on.
All right. So in bronze or third position, we have Cavera, 8,845. In second position, we have Red 47, which is getting closer to his million.
He's getting there. He's
like
got 40,000 off.
As soon as he's there, we're getting him on the show. So that is I had to see. Did I do one too many ones? No. 11,155. And then you have me in number one this week, which is probably not going to be the case next week when I move, on 13,040.
Yeah, so I guess Chapter and a few others took a bit of a break then. I think it's the one time we're going to be showing up in those leaderboards.
Yeah. We're trying to play quality at the moment.
Yeah.
I had a lot of crap to clean up this week.
Yeah.
Anyway, going back to it, let's get into the questions.
Or do you want to do our Patreon shout-outs? Because apparently that's also the next thing that you do.
Oh, yeah, the Patreon. They just scroll on the bottom now. Like, I've just made a podcast that just does itself. So let's just wait for it to scroll across. We have Charmander, Hackenpone, Peter Nightingale, Cobra Todd. Oh yeah, we'll get it. Sorry, just to interrupt quickly. We will get a link to the leaderboard again in the Discord. If not, you can find us on TA, Hall of Games leaderboard. Pretty easy, yeah. Going back to Patreon, Kung Fu Skills, Cavalier 07, and Hawkeye Barry.
Thank you all. We, as we said at the top of the show, we really appreciate all the support we get through Patreon because that allows us to do this and to make it as much of a nightmare as it always is, but at least with decent production quality. I didn't say good. I said decent.
Hopefully one day we get the monetary budget to afford better guests. Sorry, better hosts.
Wow.
I'm so sorry.
Wow. You're implying that we would pay anybody to be on this fucking show? Are you kidding me? Oh man, Charlotte, you better fucking clip that because I'm using that for clip of the week. I don't give a shit. That's the clip. That's the one. That's the one. All right, let's get into our
conversation. Is really good. Like compared to what we're doing, our stuff. Yeah, you guys got it.
Oh, well,
Your
To be fair-
Patreon money is going to good use.
We try. Well, yeah, exactly. It's like the Ko-fi money is for Mountain Dew and Doritos, but the Patreon money and the subscription money does go to equipment and stuff like that. So we can I can upgrade this piece of fucking shit that I need to get rid of.
When we reinvented the podcast, we had one core value, and that was to have every podcast feel like a party chat. And God damn, it gets close sometimes.
Yeah. I mean, this. Oh boy. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, my boss watches this, so I need to be a little bit careful. No, I don't want to get fired.
All right, let's get into the questions because we got
a lot of questions. So let's rapid fire. Let's go.
All right. So Kyle from the Xbox Cast, in the theme of pronouncing names horribly wrong, is that Cruises?
Damn it! Now I've forgotten.
Quick shout out for Kyle helping us quickly set up this amazing template today too.
Yeah, I got good friends in the Xbox Cast. He's asked a couple of questions here. He said, "Do you think you'll ever finish your backlog?" No, no is the correct answer.
All right, what's yours, like 200?
Mine, I have a backlog of 217 started games and another 100 or so unstarted.
All right, so my physical media. So my 360 and my Xbox games is probably like 1/3, 1/4 of my collection. Putting them into boxes and knowing the volume of each box, it pretty much is at 500. 500. Damn, what's the measurement for volume? Fuck.
Cubic meters.
Cubic meters. That's it. Yeah.
That's a lot.
That's way too many. That's you got your Olympic swimming pool ready to go. That's nuts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, what? I butchered that, didn't I?
Yeah. Alison has asked if she gets the backlog in the divorce. You can take it from my cold dead hands.
This will be passed down from generations to come.
Yeah, there will be no generations on my part, but I'll find some unlucky soul to have to fucking finish on my gamer tag. What about you, Cory? You planning on finishing every single game you've started?
No, that's going to be impossible. I'm just going to look real quick. Let me just look at because I'm all digital at this point.
Yeah, me too.
So right now I own 286 Xbox games, and I'll probably completed less than 10% of them. So,
big job.
So, yeah, so that's ridiculous. Yeah, I don't know what's going on, and I'm looking at this list. There's stuff on here I'm never gonna go back to realistically. So
10% completion percentage, and I get flack. What the hell is this?
Yeah, but he's also not an achievement hunting podcast.
Yeah, that's a little different. Like
a little bit, yeah, exactly.
I'm sorry that I have a Hall of Fame that's dedicating to me starting as much crap as possible.
Guy comes on here with 36% or whatever the fuck he's got, and I'm like, oh, come on, mate. What are you?
13,000 this week alone.
Yeah, exactly.
That's like a fifth of my total gamer score, and you got that in a week. Like that's ridiculous. Like,
yeah, different levels. Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm. It's not how much you get; it's how bad you game, right?
Yeah, sure. You also got the question here. He also asked, do you like to eat Greek salad while playing Hades? No, I play so much Hades that I forget to eat. So by definition, no, I do not.
What's that, like lettuce, cherry tomatoes, red onion, feta? Yeah, no.
Yeah, no, no surprises there.
Wait, salad?
Yeah, no, salad. Yeah.
Salad? Would you rather have 12 fingers or 12 toes?
12 fingers, easy.
Yeah, 12 fingers.
Because you know how hard it is to...
toes are... I'll take the toes. They're easier to hide.
You say yes, but you also have to... I was going to say every sock and every shoe is made for someone with 10 toes, though. Like gloves would suck, but how often do you wear gloves versus how often do you wear socks and shoes?
And I feel like gloves is an easier thing to modify than socks.
That's true. This is true.
I don't know. And what toe are we talking? Is it the big toe?
Yeah, okay, toe? Yeah. 2 big toes is that's a little crazy.
But I don't know. I would choose the feet just because I could hide it and avoid the public, the stares and the gawks. Like
fair, that's fair. Yeah, you can give everyone high sevens. Okay, we also got one here from Charmander. How does lockdown affect your gaming? Does it change anything for you? For me, absolutely not. It doesn't change almost anything about my life except the fact that I can't go out and get food. I have to try and scrounge. I had to go on a snack run today. Alison also cooks, and she's giving me the finger right now. What, do you have something to say? No? Okay, yeah, no, she's just being a bitch. What about you guys?
Not really, because like when the lockdowns first happened when I was employed, nothing really changed. And then now that I'm unemployed, nothing's really changed. Like I just...
Fair.
Yeah,
I mean,
I don't think much has changed for me. I definitely have more gaming time, which isn't much, but still, it's I've been digital, for years now, so I don't have to go out to get games, and everything's here, so it hasn't been bad. But also, like, I think more than our individual playing experiences, I think it's more just infected the market. It's partly why it's so hard to get these consoles now, because I feel like being on lockdown and more isolation and less people going out to do things, it's causing more gaming engagement, to the point now where I think one of my friends, Bobby Blockbuster from the movie podcast, his Xbox One broke. He's not really too big into gaming. It's just so he can do his movies and TV stuff and all that. But he tried to find another one, and the prices are ridiculous right now, even for Xbox One or PlayStation 3. Just because people are so much more engaged in gaming and the hardware, it's just
people are hungry. And it's like the other option would be to buy a PC, but you can't fucking do that now at the moment. That's like, jeez.
You don't pay a lot.
I ain't making PC money. I'll tell you that. That's
why
I'm doing this on a laptop.
I did get a gaming laptop, I think last year in the beginning of the lockdown, and it was pricey then, but it was also an investment. I was like, all right, this is going to last me a few years, and really, I don't really game on it. It's more for editing video, because my old system just took hours to render stuff, and now it's way faster, and the workflow is a lot better. But yeah, I can't imagine what that same thing is going for now. I could probably sell this for close to what I paid for it right now.
Yeah, exactly. I'm exactly the same situation. I bought a replacement gaming laptop, one of these Asus Gaming Tough ones. And for the same thing, where it's like now that I'm editing video and audio and stuff for the podcast and doing this kind of stuff, it's like I'm so glad that I have a bit more of a powerhouse. I mean, I can't have it on my thighs because I literally will melt. Because it's just like it sounds like Jeffrey Bezos fucking taking off whenever I try to render anything. But but it works at least. It hasn't broken yet, so like that's a good thing. But yeah, trying to because I was thinking about it, I was like, I'm getting into this podcast thing. I really should get like a proper setup, like a desktop. And it's like it was like $5,000 in New Zealand to like even get something that was like decent that had like a 3080 in it. And I was like, fuck, man, that's like that's a big no for me.
You don't really need a 3080. I think this thing
you're right.
If you want that you want the Mercedes of game,
Sure. But I mean, if you buy a desktop once every 7 or 8 years, you might as well go big and hard, right? It's like you just get everything, get a 3090 for fuck's sake. Who gives a shit, But like, but even then, I was like looking at like a 2080 or something, and like it was still like it wasn't that much cheaper. It's just like the chip shortage just made buying fucking PC parts just an absolute nightmare.
Yeah, like I said, I got mine a little bit before that curve started happening. So and they're talking about that's going to go on deep into
next year, right? Which is like, but yeah, like they said, like 2023, which is like when the next cards would be coming out anyway, which is insane to me. But Todd in chat points out that it cost him about not far off 4,800 when he built his one. But Jesus, so I just don't have unless the podcast really fucking takes off. I don't think I'm going to be getting a PC anytime soon.
So what code for give us money?
Yeah, no, that's mate. Pointing out the fact that I'm shilling is not fucking cool, okay, mate? Like, let's just bring it back a little bit, okay?
All right, cool.
Keep a little bit of
this. I tell you what, the only thing that has changed is like fucking deliveries. When you're at home all the time, you notice when you've ordered something from Amazon and it fucking takes like 2 weeks.
And then they're like, "Oh no, you weren't home," and you're like, "Motherfucker, I've got nowhere else to be."
I messaged. All right, so this is purely for Steven in the chat. Me and Steven go on Swam's website, Ozbargain, pretty much religiously, yeah? And they had a really nice 70% off on beef jerky deal that I ordered like 3 weeks ago now. I was meant to get it Tuesday. Where the fuck's my beef jerky?
Gotta hit him up on Twitter, mate.
And then I'm moving on Monday, so it's like, I'm fucked.
Yeah, it's crazy because I mean I'm over here. I'm in Maryland, and we've got a lot of distribution centers around here. So like anything past 2 days, it's kind of ridiculous, you know, for what our expectations are from Amazon. But I have noticed, you know, some of the products, you know, when you click to buy them, the expected delivery dates, they're starting to get pushed out a little bit more. And it kind of has a lot to do with our well, Amazon has their own delivery service, but they do outsource to, you know, our local post office, UPS, sometimes FedEx. And I think we're still being kind of impacted by Donald Trump's attempt to nerf the postal system.
Oh, yes, of course.
To manipulate mail-in ballots. So we're still kind of recovering from that. And sometimes things can get really out of whack. Like I just checked my order history. I totally forgot about this. I ordered a Spider-Man mask for this comic convention, you know, we had a few weeks ago. And I just looked at my order history and I'm like, yo, this thing hasn't been delivered yet. Like, what's going on? And I don't know what's going on. It might be lost or whatever, but yeah, we're still dealing with some squirry stuff with the you know, it's not as bad as, you know, what you're describing, but yeah, it's getting crazy.
So we also got a question here. What's your most anticipated, so from Austin 045, what's your most anticipated game of 2022?
I'm going to say it before you steal it.
Yes.
Atomic Heart, but I don't know if that's next year.
Yeah, Atomic Heart I think is supposed to be next year. I don't think it's my most anticipated, but it's definitely interesting. I know Allison is going to say Hogwarts Legacy.
I can't even think of anything coming out. Like, there's too many
there's
good
a few things.
titles at the end of this year.
So my answer is Elden Ring in January.
Okay.
So that only just counts. But there's a few other bits and pieces coming out. Like you've got Starfield coming out in November next year, which I'm interested in. The new Plague Tale.
Oh, yeah, Plague Tale will be good.
Yeah. The new Dead Space, the remaster or the remake of that. Other than that, like not a huge amount that I can see so far. I mean, there's that whole Gotham Knights thing that looks kind of interesting that got delayed. Like a lot of it's just stuff that got delayed into next year.
Yeah, I'd have to see a list, but yeah, I think Starfield is definitely. I just want to know what is that going to be, you know?
Yeah.
Images, but what is the gameplay going to be like on that, you know?
Yeah, totally agree.
Yeah.
I can't even think of what's coming out this year at the moment.
Yeah, but that's like they're obviously, you know, we'll hear more about stuff as it gets closer because they don't want to talk about stuff too early.
What was the? It's like Left 4 Dead, but not.
Back for Blood?
Not Back 4 Blood. It was the other one that's coming out.
Redfall.
Redfall. That's it.
Redfall.
Yeah, that looks really good.
And Stalker 2. Stalker 2.
Yes, Stalker 2. Yeah. So there's a lot of good stuff coming out, but again, I think it might be a little few and far between. Like kind of like how we've seen this year, right? Like we've had some good games this year. But it's definitely hasn't like a lot of it's been in the indie space, like not a lot of sort of like the medium to larger titles, just because most of them got delayed.
That's fine though. Give indies some.
Oh yeah, like I don't think it's a big problem, but in terms of like coming to like an anticipated game, like I don't usually anticipate like big, like you usually anticipate bigger releases as opposed to like cool indie stuff.
Yeah.
So in terms of like building hype, I'm not seeing a lot on this list that there's a huge amount here. I'm like, oh, I definitely need to play that. But there's a few things that I'm keeping my eye on.
I'm definitely end of 2021 with Infinite, Forza Horizon 5, Age of Empires 4. Like, that's three of my biggest series right there.
You Far Cry as well.
Yeah. All right, we should move on.
Yep.
All right, Dino Ball, is there a game from your childhood you think helps affect your personality? Age of Empires 2, probably. I don't play as much strategy games now, but I spent whole days on that game as a kid. Other than Banjo-Kazooie, that was probably my most memorable childhood experience. And just how accessible it was back then as well.
Yeah. In terms of personality, I don't know. But in terms of my gaming taste, I know that Legend of Legaia, which was an old PlayStation 1 game, was the first JRPG I ever played. And I didn't even know the genre existed because I missed Final Fantasy because I was quite late into the PlayStation. I got like a PlayStation 1 like in like 99 or 2000, somewhere like right before the PlayStation 2 came out because there was like dirt cheap and my parents wanted me to go outside for a little bit. Look how that turned out. But yeah, it was like I saw this thing. I was like, what? Like you just stand around and like you take turns with battles and you like coordinate an attack and you don't have to like, it wasn't like Crash Bandicoot or anything else or Spyro or anything where it's like everything was happening at once. Like no, it's like more like turn-based, take your time, like magic and stuff and like stats and numbers and fucking just blew my mind. Like Legend of Legaia is not an amazing game and the sequel's even fucking worse. And it's one of those titles that like almost no one's ever heard of. But like I remember seeing it, like I played it at a friend's place and he was one of those like weird guys who imported stuff from Japan. He's like, check this shit out. And I was like, what the hell is this? And like I never saw it again until like I saw it in a store, like a used copy of it, like in like one of the like EB Games competitors back when those were still around. And it was like $50 and I was like, I went to my mom and I was like, I need $50 to buy this game. I've never seen it on a shelf before. I need it. I will do anything. So that's how I ended up mowing lawns for 6 months. But and it was 100% worth it and such a cool game. But like that really really sort of got me into JRPGs. I fell off them a little bit after a while because eventually I just kind of ran out of time. I've been slowly getting back into them with the Final Fantasies and with Dragon Quest and stuff like that, and going back to Lost Odyssey a few months ago. So that's probably the one that really sticks out for me. Other than obviously Crash Bandicoot, which was the first game I ever played, and Spyro the Dragon, which it was those two just sort of shaped me as a hardcore gamer, quote unquote.
What age? I want to just sidetrack from this question a little bit. What age did you start achievement hunting?
I got my first achievement on the 7th of the 7th of the 7th, so I would have been 15 years old.
Yeah, where I don't think I started until I was like somewhere in the vicinity of like 18 to 20. So I don't think achievement hunting touched my childhood at all, because back before then, like even back between that 18 and 20 stage, that's when I was doing esports. Like only regional tournaments, but that's when me and my buddies were going to doing the rounds and those kind of things.
Yeah, I will say that like I had an interest in achievements at that age, right? Like, because I was going for them, but I wasn't like going like as crazy as I do now.
We weren't hooked, yeah.
No, exactly right. Like we hadn't like I hadn't quite like I was like, this is really interesting. I was achievement curious, we'll say. But like I went went fucking balls deep like a couple years in, where it's like you can, if you look at my TA profile in terms of like the amount of achievements I earned those first couple of years, and then you'll just see a massive spike, and it's all been kind of up since then.
Yeah, I think when I first got the 360, I was not aware of achievements. So when they started popping, I was like, yo, this is kind of cool. And then you get the leaderboards, and then you start getting into it a little bit more as you start adding, players to your thing. You're like, oh my God, this guy's way up here. And well, this is something I could do. And also at that time, it was a little different. I didn't have Game Pass. So if I bought a game, I was kind of stuck sitting with it for a lot longer. And that became something to do after you beat the game. Or if it didn't have a multiplayer, then boom, go into, checking out and seeking the achievements. But yeah, it's pretty cool. And now I'm hooked. Like earlier, like I can't play things that don't have achievements. It's really hard. Like I got to switch, and it kind of mostly sits, at this point, unless I'm going somewhere or taking a trip, then I'll bag it up and take it with me. But yeah, I need those achievements. Like I won't even mess with the game if it doesn't have them.
Yeah, it's a hard one. I've also got a question from Question Asker Extraordinaire Isaac27, who said, "Hey guys, some years ago, I remember using a rubber band to keep my character walking in a circle and using a book to hold down A, and I came back 3 hours later and an achievement had popped. What MacGyver-esque tricks have you come up with to earn achievements, and what did any of them not work out the way you planned?" Cameron?
Nikita had a headband that was very elastic. So what I used to do is just, right trigger down. I think I did, actually, most recent example of this is Dirt 5, when they moved the 10,000 miles achievement down to 1,000 miles. Wrap it around a few times, right trigger down, easy track, just going around in circles, hitting the end. I think it was like 40 hours of that. Yep. Yeah, usually it's that. Otherwise, if we really want to knock something out a little bit more difficult, it's the Cronus Max. What's the other Cronus? The competitor?
The Titan, the one I use a Titan. Yeah. Same sort of thing. I have the exact same answer. I've used one of Alison's hair ties to basically hold down triggers for stuff. I don't even remember what it was at this point.
Girlfriends are resourceful, yeah.
I know, right? Yeah, it was some sort of grind that I was doing where I was checking back on it every now and then. Oh no, it was GTA 5. That's what it was. We were driving around a circle to level up to level 100 on the online before it got shut down, and it was like he had to do 8 laps, and it took about a minute or two. And it's like, okay, well, I'm not going to sit here holding it, so I just set up a hair tie and just ran that, and would just work on my laptop and then look over, start the race again, go back to my work, start the race, go back to my work. So that worked out quite well.
In terms of achievement hunting, it's not really like play harder, it's play smarter.
Yeah,
and I know
it's about maximizing your time.
You're a perfect example of that, like having like we use auto scripts on PC because like if we're doing the same tedious task 1,000 times, because unfortunately some developers think an achievement list should just be do this mundane task until you knock your head
fingers drop off. Yeah, exactly.
Macro scripts are pretty much the way to go.
Yeah.
Like I've always been strongly to the point of achievement list should capitalize the game. It should capture all the aspects, all the strengths of the game, not just, like there's some lists out there that are like 19 out of 20 of a really good list, and then 20 is just like skate the circumference of the world. It's like, what the fuck?
What kills me is the secret achievements, there's no context. Just keep playing for a bigger chance to unlock this, and I'm like, what? You know what I'm saying? In some games, the whole list is secret. Yeah, and I'm like,
and that's why TA is our friend.
True achievements is where you need to be if you want to be earning that stuff, because it'll spoil everything for you, which is very, very helpful. But yeah, I'm with you. Yeah.
And I just want to answer a question in the chat because your bot blocked me.
Oh yeah, sorry about yes, I did see that. Sorry about that. Yes.
Yeah, someone was asking me about these sneaker boxes, and I do an unboxing video series on my on the From the Canopy YouTube channel, and and I do tech, toys, and sneakers. It's been mostly sneakers lately, but I do have some Xbox related stuff. I've got actually a pretty cool dual unboxing of the Series S, with my friend from the Concentrated podcast. I've unboxed some controllers, even the Xbox memory card, and just little peripherals and stuff like that as I get them. But there's also a lot of sneakers, so you'll be able to get to that. I guess Cameron and Matt will put the show notes and put
100%. Yeah, we'll link all that stuff. Yeah,
show notes. Yeah. Funny.
we will plug the shit out of it on the Discord and that sort of stuff for sure. Absolutely, because we really appreciate having you on.
No, it's been great.
All right,
and chat, you got to give him props. It's like 6 a.m. now for you.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah,
it is. I woke up early for 6:41.
Jesus. All right. Yeah, let's maybe we need to wrap this up.
Mm-hmm. I'm not even going back to sleep. I just gotta edit my show and do some other stuff. I'm just gonna go through my day and I'll crash sooner or later, so it'll be much easier.
Let's get heading to work.
So we're wrapping up. Let's swap to our new contacts page. Woo!
Oh, well done. All right. So if you want to get in touch with us, you can find us on Discord, discord.io/GPNGG. We've got our own section. Talked about it at the top of the show. You can come hang out. Fucking ruin the word challenge while we're recording. You can come talk to us about the episode. We've also got an exclusive Patreon chat there for our Patrons to talk about the Lights, Camera, and Action and what movies you want to see and what other Patreon content you might be interested in. We've also got an Instagram, GPN Hall of Gamers, which Cameron has set up very nicely. It looks great. Yeah. We've got our Twitter at GPN Hall of Gamers, which Cameron shit posts on very, very regularly. And we've also got our email, gpnhallofgamers@gmail.com.
I also added the YouTube for the GPN.
Yes. Thank you. Whereabouts is that?
I didn't add in the Discord, but it's just GPN.
GPN, right.
So you can find us, you can find the Twitch streams uploaded there.
Yep. I do a little bit of editing magic to make them look a bit nicer and do some intro and outro screens and that kind of stuff.
And I just chuck 1,000 templates at you and just like, is this fine? And he's like, no, go back to your dungeon, like do some more.
No, it's like no, there's no gruel for you today. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, you can also see all of the other GPN content on here, including some of Cory's great stuff. So we'd highly recommend you check out the YouTube channel. It's probably the best place to discover GPN content right now.
Yeah.
Otherwise, word of mouth is always the biggest thing for us. Shout it out in your boosting sessions. Tell your friends, tell your neighbors, tell your employers, as I fucking did by mistake. Tell your siblings, tell your lockdown, tell people who are stuck inside and have nothing to do to listen to the podcast and dream about, playing video games as good as we do. Now, Cameron, if people want to find you, where can they find you?
They can find me in party chats randoms that have like less than 50,000 gamer score, asking, "How the fuck did you get 600,000?" And then they find out about Matt, and they're just like, "Wait, what the fuck? Numbers go that high?" And then you're like, "Oh, you know, I'm a Hall of Famer for Game Pass." Like, we don't give a fuck.
I mean, like Cameron's a great wingman. I just got to say, you know, he always warms them up, and then I just come in and just blow them away.
I gotta say, some of the chats with the gamerscore normies.
Yeah, I'm definitely one of those. But you can kind of gauge what kind of gamer, like there's people that have probably been on these consoles just as long as we have, but you know, maybe they only play FIFA or Madden or Call of Duty, and you'll see that reflected in their gamer store. Whereas people that, you know, play a lot of games, they usually have higher gamer scores, you know, just because, you know,
in reality, the only reason I really look at people's scores is so I can get an idea of what they're interested in and how much they play those games, right? So I like seeing people who have a big variety of games, so you have a lot to talk about, which is why we like having guests like you on the show, because you know, you actually you know shit about shit, so it's great.
100%. I just want to ask one question too. I put out like the thing on Twitter about a week ago. Curious to know, this is not just achievements. This is achievements, trophies, Steam achievements, whatever. Yeah. Regardless of it, whether you thought they were essential, complimentary, unnecessary, or unwanted. Cory, what's your thoughts?
Well, repeat that again.
So 4 categories. Whether you put achievements and trophies. This isn't console specific or platform specific. Okay. Whether you find them essential, complimentary, unnecessary, or unwanted.
I think they're complimentary, definitely. You know, for me as a gamer.
So 67% said complimentary, 29% said essential, because pretty much half my friends on Twitter would be achievement hunters.
I was going to say that's our audience. Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
And then only 4% said unnecessary, and nobody said unwanted. So
no, of course not. Cameron, thanks for that segue. Now, can you get back to telling us where the fuck we can find you?
Oh yeah, cool. Twitter, Instagram at Shadowless Edge. I don't have anything posted to my Instagram there, but I'm probably going to make more content in the future because that's my social media course. Instagram's looking pretty for the GPN page. You can find me on Xbox and TA under Shadowless Edge, and feel free to jump in the party and talk shit anytime you want.
Yeah, no, I do.
Except for when I'm moving house.
Cory, what about you, mate?
You can catch me at Monkey Blood on Twitter and Instagram. That's my personal pages. But also check out the Game BBQ Pit. It's at Game BBQ Pit on Twitter and Instagram. And yeah, that's it. I'm probably most active on Twitter. You know, that's just more fun to me. I like, you know, information more so than pictures and stuff. So you'll catch me there, you know, talking stuff, trying to be nice towards Sony. It's getting it's increasingly tough.
They're making it hard.
I was going to say, they don't make it easy. Yeah, the Sony ponies definitely don't.
I don't want to be that guy that's bagging on them all day, but you might see me liking some tweets that do. What about proxy? But
I'm not going to say it, but you know, they can say it, and I can just agree with it.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's where I'm at mostly, and you know, I try to just keep up with the gaming news and keep playing stuff, you know. So and just have fun with it, you know. I don't take this stuff too seriously, you know.
Just video games at the end of the day, right?
Yeah, and also if you want our podcast content, we do every we do videos with every podcast, so you can check everything else I do out at From the Canopy Network, From the Canopy Podcast Network on YouTube, and then Game BBQ Pit is on GPN's YouTube channel, you know, weekly. So
yeah, fantastic. All right, and if you want to find me, you can find me on Neomaster on pretty much everything: Discord, Xbox, TA. Hit me up. I'm probably like Cameron said, you know, talking shit is kind of what we do. So, and we do it even when the cameras are off. So, why stop now? All right. Well, I think that's going to wrap us up for episode 6 of the Hall of Gamers podcast. I just want to give a great big shout out to Cameron for doing all this great work. A big shout out to Cory for joining us, and a big shout out to Charlotte Charmander for doing some great work managing the chat and being great moral support for and helping write Song of the Week this week. All right. Peace. We'll catch you guys next week.
See you then.
All right, folks.